Three, two, one. Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to episode 272 of the KBMOD podcast. It is April 2nd, 2017, and that's not a joke because it's not April Fool's. This is the 272nd episode of the podcast.
We survived April Fool's.
We did. We did survive it. I think we will be going over some of the April Fool's lulls a little bit later in the cast from various companies and online entities. But
it's such a funny day. Really, a day just filled with laughs,
filled with
hilarious pranks,
just unbelievable memery, and definitely one of my favorite days of the year for sure. I actually had a friend who had a baby born on April Fool's last night. And
that's actually the worst.
Yeah, I felt pretty bad. I was like, she gave birth at I think she started she was in labor around 7. And I was like, I don't want to wish somebody that they're in labor for hours, but I was like, 5 more hours. You can do it. You can get to midnight and it can be an April 2nd baby. But no, I think she gave birth 3 hours later.
Man. So. And you know that Facebook post, no likes. Because people are like, yeah, I've heard that one before. That's the oldest one. Had your baby. You're pregnant. Actually, maybe having a baby is not as bad because you don't you fake the pregnancy, not the having the baby.
Right. Yeah. No, that's true.
It's still unfortunate.
Usually the pregnancy would be faked, but still, you don't want to. I mean, because then again, even for this kid's birthday, though.
Yeah.
Every year, it's going to be somebody's going to do some funny joke like, "Oh, we forgot your birthday," and then you're going to be like, "No, you didn't. I know there's something going on," and then there'll be a part. It'll just be some lame joke every year.
Yeah, it's you're never. Yeah, it's gonna be like the bad version of having your birthday on Christmas.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So unfortunate for that child, but you can't pick when you're born. Though I guess actually you kind of can, right? Because I mean, when you're ready to come out, I guess the baby's kind of dictating.
That's true. You're not picking it consciously, but you kind of get to choose.
Yeah, you kind of get to choose. You know what? No, fuck. Screw that baby. You know what? It made its decision.
Yeah, it's his fault.
It's that baby's fault.
His or her fault. That their life is a joke.
Wow, somebody from chat just said, yeah, my friend gets 0 happy birthdays on Facebook and share happened yesterday. Dang, man. Yeah, you're right, because everyone just assumes, come on. Yeah. It's dark.
Wow. Damn.
All right. Well, anyway, we got the normal crew, of course, with us, as you can hear. Katie, Brandon, and of course Brad.
AKA Jeff Bezos.
AKA Jeff Bezos with his current picture. Honestly, for the amount of Brad references Jeff Bezos a lot, and I know it's somewhat of a meme, but I think you really
Brad's just jealous of the.
I'm onto something, right? I'm onto something.
Of the second richest man in the world,
which hasn't been the same since Scott understands.
I mean, I don't know if I fully understand, but I do think that he would go a long way if he just responded to one of your tweets. I think.
Does Jeff Bezos actually tweet though?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
He's not really known as a prolific tweeter.
No, it's probably somebody tweeting.
He's no Elon Musk when it comes to Twitter.
No, definitely not.
He's no Gary Newman tweeting pictures of his child with pox or talking about the shit he took or something. He's no Gary Newman.
But, all right, boys. Well, what's been going on this week besides what we've already discussed, the memery, of course, which was yesterday.
It's hard to think of anything else when
I know
when I'm just recovering from all the laughs I had yesterday.
Yeah, honestly, my ribs still hurt too. It's crazy. From the moment I wake up till the moment I go to sleep, it's just the LUL in all caps. Just I can't even. It's painful.
It's just the crying tears emoji face.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, anything exciting? We don't have to go gaming related. It can be gaming related, but we'll get into that. Anything anybody wants to share with the class?
Not from myself. Pretty boring week.
Yeah, I didn't do a whole lot this week. I ate at a nice restaurant last night. Had prime rib. That was good.
Ooh, okay. Ooh. That sounds, prime rib is always great. You eat it with a little horseradish with that, or what?
Yeah, actually, the prime rib was fantastic, but the horseradish left a little bit to be desired. It was like a little bit. Yeah? It was a little bit runny, and I just thought, man, if this was like a nice, a little bit creamier, spicier horseradish, it would have been just unbelievable. But it was really good though. It was a very nice meal, but I feel like prime rib lives and dies by the horseradish.
It is a pretty big component of that dish. That's unfortunate. That you were at a restaurant, you said, when you had that?
Yeah, it was just a restaurant in the area we live. So it was nice. The prime rib was like their Saturday special, and
okay.
And so Hillary and I both got it, and it was really good. But man, a good horseradish. I feel like you can take a bad prime rib and put good horseradish on it, and it's still like a good meal.
And it will, yeah. That's an example of, I guess you would argue, horseradish is a condiment, right? At that point,
it is. But I feel like it's. I mean, why even have prime rib without horseradish? Like it doesn't. I feel like it's not a condiment in the traditional sense, because I don't even eat it as a condiment. Like the prime rib is required.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like with normal steaks, generally speaking, you don't put any sauce on a good steak.
No.
But
you shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't. Well, of course, we all know that the steak, we all eat our steak the same way our president does. Well done with ketchup, because that's honestly, I didn't think it was good, but when I saw that our president was doing it, I'm like, he can't be wrong. He runs the country. Yeah. It's got to be right. And I got to tell you, I've really, since then, I've been enjoying.
Or just slather it in A1,
Oh yeah. I mean, speaking of like condiments, when it comes to meat, like A1 definitely serves its purpose when you're dealing with, a either not well cooked steak or like a lower grade. If I understand, I'm not saying you pull out the A1. If you've got some good meat and it's cooked as it should be, you shouldn't eat anything. Of course, I agree with that. But
I mean, if you're cooking steaks at home, like, it's fine if you want to use barbecue sauce or A1 or something, because you're probably you're not necessarily a great chef.
Sure.
And I'll definitely, like, where I typically use barbecue sauce or or steak sauce is on leftovers from a restaurant. Like if I have steak left over, when you heat it back up, it's usually it's not the rubbery. Same. Yeah, it's a little bit harder. It's not quite as good, but it's usually still about as good as like a steak I would cook at home if I put barbecue sauce on it. But I mean, prime rib is in a class of its own. You just gotta have good horseradish.
I like ranch.
Okay. Okay.
I'm kidding.
What? Yeah. I knew that was a troll.
I was gonna say, that's. People eat ranch on a lot of things, but steaks are not one of them.
God, I like to cover my steak with honey mustard.
Oh my God. Okay, that actually is more offensive even than ranch. That actually is. Oh wow.
When it comes to things like that, honey mustard is like a toy, basically. I feel like I don't know, I've never really had like elevated honey mustard that I can think of.
Yeah.
That somehow doesn't surprise me, but
elevated honey mustard.
All right.
I mean, I don't generally see, you don't necessarily see like gourmet honey mustard at restaurants and stuff. Like you'll see maybe like a nice aioli, or like I said, like a horseradish sauce, or I don't know, maybe even ketchup. But I feel like usually it's like aioli or something is going to be what they make in house. But honey mustard, I don't know. Usually you're like, I don't know. Honey mustard's more of like a fast food thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're dunking your whatever, your chicken.
Your chicken dunkers.
Yeah, like honey mustard.
I do love some honey mustard.
Yeah. It's not bad. No, definitely.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A. Let's get some honey mustard with that.
Oh yeah.
But
I just had a violent reaction to this chat comment: sweet and sour on your New York strip.
Oh my God.
Oh my. Okay. Yep. Something happened in my throat. That was my gag reflex. I was just thinking now that's a good idea. If it probably exists because everything exists on YouTube, but a channel of somebody like getting these really beautiful pieces like Kobe beef steaks or whatever, cooking them perfectly, and then slathering it into like 50 packs of sweet and sour sauce from McDonald's and like smearing the top of it. God, just because it would trigger people so bad. That would be millions of views. Free idea right there.
That actually sounds like a great idea. Like going to nice restaurants and ordering, like their Wagyu ribeye, and bringing in like packets of honey mustard or sweet and sour sauce or something else from fast food chains, and just putting it all over. That's a great idea. That is $1 million idea.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Basically just triggering content for the sake of it being triggering.
You'll have a Travel Channel show in no time.
Yep. Okay, but so it's a pretty crazy week for us boys. Brandon had a horseradish that was a little watery, and it launched us into. That's what this podcast is, dude. Anytime it's hinted at all towards food, we really just need to change this podcast to where we talk about what we ate during the week, and then maybe like we talk about what we played and maybe one game.
I mean, the thing is, Scott and I are getting older, so we're kind of relying on the two younger guys to have interesting things to say. I mean, I was at work all week, and then I had a meal, and so like, what do I have to talk about here?
Well, I mean, this is why, Katie. This is why you need to spread your wings, dude. I'm not saying you need to go. I need you out there on hitting the dirt.
I mean, the extent of what I can experience is men going into the bathroom, puking and moaning. So nothing really. There's no potential there. Yeah. But you're right. I need to improve there. Was there no one like that where you went, Brandon?
Not that night. But I did. I mean, I did go to a little outing at someone's house on Friday night, and a coworker. I think he was like in the bathroom vomiting by midnight. I was like, wow. That's impressive.
That is.
But I mean, I don't know. I guess that was exciting, but it's not out of the ordinary, I suppose.
I mean, this wasn't crazy, but I actually, my girlfriend, I went over her brother's house because he had tried his first attempt at making like a homebrewed beer with a beer kit, and so it had happened like 6 weeks ago, and he finally was there for us to try it, and so he invited me over to come over and check it out on Saturday, last night, and it came out really good. It was just like a basic lager, but it was his first time, and so I was pretty impressed, and it tasted good. I've never like, I'm not a real big beer drinker anyway, so I wouldn't necessarily be interested to do it myself, but it came out pretty good. And I think
he do it with like a kit, a kit that he
bought? He had a kit. Yeah, he had a kit. It was like a $25 or $30 kit. It ended up making basically a case, and it tasted. I mean, again, like not like Budweiser's, but I mean, it tasted better than a lot of like those really shitty skunk beers.
Really?
That you can, like the really really cheap ones. I mean, it was very passable. I was like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, like my favorite, the Kirkland Special, where like 50 cents a can or whatever. My friends call it industrial beer.
Basically. Yeah, it was better than that. So he was pretty impressed with himself. I was impressed. I was like, yeah, this is not a bad. It'll be a fun thing to do. He's got another kit that's like a little bit more. And now that he did it once, he's like, now I'm going to add like an orange. He's going to kind of mix it up a little bit, do something a little bit different before. But yeah, it's my first time ever drinking homebrewed beer, which is, I mean, almost 30. I feel like people do that pretty often. I don't get invited to parties with alcohol, guys.
It's only in certain circles.
It wasn't a party, but yeah, no, that's true. No, a lot of the when I lived in Pittsburgh, a lot of the KBMOD guys, we knew people. I mean, Sean brews his own beer.
Yeah, Sean brews his own beer.
Sean's a brewer, but I don't think I ever got to one of the events where they were tasting it. So, but yeah, I know Sean's big on that. But yeah, so that was fun. That was cool. But again, that's all I got. It tasted pretty good. I mean, we didn't get. I had one. Basically, he had them in pretty big bottles. It was like equivalent of 2 beers per bottle. But he was just giving me the rundown.
Sounds like it went better than the time I tried to make root beer from a kit.
You tried to make root beer at home once?
Oh yeah, this was like years ago. I think we actually talked about it on the cast. And look back at one of the past episodes. Probably, I don't know. It had to be 4 or 5 years ago.
I don't remember that.
It was in the early days, yeah. Because I remember I was in my this was like 3 apartments ago. But I tried to make root beer with a kit, and it was just it came out disgusting.
Did it come out flat, or was it
no?
Just
it was just too. It was way too sugary.
Okay.
And I'm not like it. Basically, I didn't even know how I would have gotten it to be something that I wanted to drink, because I wasn't. It's like it's just a kit. It's not. I guess it's probably different than brewing beer, where you can kind of figure out which ingredient you want to change the taste. This was just like, it comes in this little kit, and there's like sugar and there's other stuff, and it was just it was not good. So I cannot recommend.
It sounds like what the recipe they use for mug, actually.
Yeah. I mean, mug was definitely the closest to what it tasted like, because mug is the worst root beer.
I know I do that. I feel like every time we bring up root beer, we always shit on mug. But the reason that I do is it's fucking disgusting. Is there anybody? Beer. I want to know. And I know people are going to troll and say I like mug, but is there anybody? We have 100 and almost 20 people.
I can drink it. Like, if you dare me to drink it, I can drink it. It's not
sure.
It's not. It's not revolting. But it is
weird aftertaste to me. The whole package.
The thing is, much rather just drink water. It's a disgrace to root beer, right? Like, it's disgusting. It is just a bad drink. Yeah, they can do so much better. They could do so much better. Like, Pepsi makes some fine products. That's just not one of them.
Yeah. Honestly, I agree with mug is tepid sewage. That's Coney, thank you for that. That's what it tastes like in my mouth.
Tepid sewage. That's I mean,
wow, we've got somebody that okay. We got somebody in chat. To hit him. I'm sorry, I know we don't use reference chat, but he says he works for Pepsi directly.
Oh well,
so that's
interested to hear some of the inside scoop on. Maybe he's got some hot mug tips.
Actually,
hot mug. You actually don't say hot and mug, because now I'm imagining mug warmed up to like tea levels and trying. Oh, okay.
Oh,
that would kill you. That's. Mug is made by Dr. Pepper.
I don't care who makes it. The point is, it's not good. Dr. Pepper's fine. Dr. Pepper's is great.
I love Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper's great. Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk badly about the fine folks at Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, it's what Sham's saying. There are millions of good root beers out there. Why would you ever disgrace your palate with trash like
I think
mug?
That's the thing that annoys me the most is I think mug is so, like, there are so many good root beers out there that are by small brands. And you would think normally you don't drink sodas from small brands, but root beer is generally very good. Mug is just trash.
It really is. I mean, I've even had, so there's this one sandwich place. It's a chain. For some reason, the name escapes me. But so for their fountain sodas, they have Pepsi and Dr. Pepper, I guess. But they had a mug in a fountain. And I remember this is maybe one of the reasons that I'm so against it, because usually fountain sodas in general like taste better, obviously, than out of the bottle for a lot of reasons. But I tried, so I was like, maybe mug out of a fountain, when it's being mixed in, like right here, like into your cup, maybe it'll be better. And holy shit, it tasted it was maybe even worse. I mean, obviously the carbonation levels were maybe a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I was like, even getting the fountain version, and it's still terrible. Like, and I'm not saying, like, obviously, I don't understand. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad time.
Whatever. Mug's bad.
It's a bad time. But yeah, I mean, but if it's for making my own root beer, I would have drank mug over what I made. Like that, it was not a good product. So I ended up throwing most of it out, as I recall.
Okay. Well, any other food topics we want to hit before food or drink topics before we start? Did anybody? Brad, did you eat anything this week?
Did I eat anything this week?
Anything that you want to talk about?
I mean, just look at me, dude. I eat a lot. Okay.
I mean, Jeff Bezos is pretty thin, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. No, there's no food I wanted to talk about this week. I don't know what it is, but this place in my town has these things called. My girlfriend's looking at me.
Go ahead.
They're, like, what are they called? Cheesy munchers or something like? What are they? Tater munchies or something like that. They're just these little. They're basically like fried potatoes mixed with like cheese on the inside, and they're actually kind of good. But that's been my shit.
That was pretty good. Where are those from?
I think I've seen those.
But other than that, no, nothing interesting. I've made a couple meals this week, but nothing too exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing nothing to this.
Wow, Brad, I really thought
I wasn't going to speak up, but then Scott brought
I forced him. I know it was bad. I just figured he might have had like a Lunchable or something. We could start talking about Lunchable. I'm just trying to keep the food thing going as long as we can.
Oh, actually, I did have Mountain Dew is now doing lemonades.
I don't know. Okay. Wait, like a separate. Well, it's still Mountain Dew, obviously making it, but is it like carbonated or no?
I believe so, yeah. But it's like no. It's just like a carbonated lemonades, so and then a strawberry lemonade as well. So I tried those this week, and that wasn't bad, but it's just like weird. And the funny thing is too, at the bottom it says like no alcohol, like non-alcoholic. It's like I wasn't thinking, when I was grabbing this Mountain Dew lemonade that it was gonna be alcoholic, but on the bottom of them it says that they're non-alcoholic. So maybe there's an alcoholic version out there. I don't know, but.
Is it in the soda section or like the energy drink section?
Well, where I'm at, they're all in the same thing. So it's all Pepsi products, one thing, and then Coke and another. So
I have to say again, I was at Wawa looking at in the soda section and looking at Mountain Dew recently, just hoping that Baja Blast would just pop out, and be there and not have fucking pitch black staring me down. Fucking like I still will never. That was a cooked vote. I think we had somebody in our chat saying, because remember there was like they were saying to vote for which one stayed around, and pitch black, the very inferior.
I don't know who did. I don't think they listened to the vote. I don't think they did.
No, I don't think they did at all, because I 10 to 1 I could ask people, would you prefer Baja stay around or pitch black? And it was, I mean, there would be maybe a pitch black fan or two, but it was almost always Baja Blast.
Baja's pretty good as far as Mountain Dew goes.
Baja's great. I'm not saying like I was maybe a little bit strong on pitch black saying that it was like cancer. Okay, it's not. I mean, it's drinkable, but compared, if you can only have one, it still blows my mind.
Well, I would have Baja over the cough syrup that is whatever that other monstrosity.
I agree. It's called. Cough syrup's a good way to describe what it tastes like. God. Okay. Well, anyway, gaming wise. If we've let's start with Brandon, because I think you were pretty light last week because of your schedule. Did you actually get to play?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
No, this is a pretty busy week due to a lot of work stuff. The only thing I've really played this week is Hearthstone, because the new expansion's coming out, and you can kind of tell they're doing the thing that mobile game developers do when they really need to kind of juice their player base. They're doing like a rewards. If you log in each day, like throughout this week, I think until they launch the expansion, you get a reward each day. So, and you don't even have to play a game. You just have to you have to open the app, and as long as you open the app, you get a reward. So, I'm kind of, they got me. I want the reward. But it's kind of a weird mobile game thing where they do, the login streaks and all that. They just literally just want you to open the app, because they know that some percentage of people will end up playing, and they'll get hooked again. So I've just been literally like a couple of days I logged into Hearthstone and I was like, oh cool, I got my thing, and then I closed it.
So this is Hearthstone, not Smite.
I mean, yes, this is not Smite.
Smite does the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I guess I shouldn't say it's like completely a mobile game thing. I think it's just it's definitely like a popular tactic in mobile games to get people to log in each day, because that's something that mobile games typically care about a lot, is like their daily player count, and they want that to go up, not down. So Pokemon Go has actually done the same thing. There's like the whenever each day you have the first Pokemon you catch and the first Pokestop you go to, you get like a little extra reward, and at the end of 7 days, if you have 7 days in a row, you get even more. So like it's a pretty popular thing to do. But anyway, Hearthstone has not done that before, to my knowledge. So this is kind of new ground for them. And some of the rewards were like, it was like a free pack and stuff. So they're pretty good rewards. And you know, I mean, I pre-ordered some packs for the new expansion because Hearthstone's just obviously like kind of my go-to over time when I'm just bored and I want something to play. So I really wanted to play more Battlegrounds, but I just didn't get around to it. So I'm hoping to be able to play that more this week because it seems like people have been having a lot of fun with that.
Yes. All right, I'm going to segue right off of that, and I'm going to go. You know, I'm not going to go last. I'm done going last. I'm going second, boys. I'm just taking control.
Tradition.
I turn you on, Katie, when I just take control like this. How do you feel?
Oh, yeah. It's making me feel some kind of way.
I bet. Well, I was going to say, this is me getting back at you for using the word pre-cum on my cast this week when we were casting games. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing.
Was that not good?
That was good. No, your description was great, but I just wasn't ready for it, I guess.
Okay.
But anyway. No, but speaking of Battlegrounds, Brad, I've been playing a shit ton of that. And
nice.
I know Brad's been playing. You've been playing a decent amount too, right, Brad?
Battlegrounds? Oh, yeah.
It's so last week I was kind of a little bit lukewarm on it, and I think the reason for that was I hadn't necessarily, I turned the corners, maybe not the right thing, but I hadn't put as much time into it as I have now. And now having spent, actually, how many hours do I have in it? I'm gonna look that up right now. Battlegrounds, I have 28 hours. So I mean, not like an insane amount, but that's like that's a decent.
That's a lot for a game that's only been out like a week.
Yeah, and it's really, really good. It's really good. It's different than H1Z1. I think kind of the comparisons, and it kind of gets old people coming in and they go, "Is this the H1Z1 killer? Should I get this game?" Blah. Like it's a decently high price point at $30 for an alpha, or a beta. I understand, but the bones of it, and I think we said this last week too, but the bones of it are so good already, and they actually recently did a couple updates. And their big update, they kind of gave their what they're planning to work on. Obviously, optimization is number one, but all the game modes. There was they did like a 5-hour stream with PlayerUnknown himself, who was saying like this is the stuff we're planning to add and all that. And so it sounds like they're going to continue. You know, they know that they have a formula that's really going to be successful, but they're going to be adding a lot of good stuff to it. But at its core, I think the game really shines in duos. I think that's probably the best part of it. Solos, I have fun with, but it gets really can get really frustrating because once you get into the top 20 or top 10, you know, the game, it gets really tense, but you know, it's a lot of luck and a lot of, you know, good positioning and stuff. And even then, sometimes when you feel like you're doing everything you can, you just get unlucky. But that's the nature of these games.
Have you seen more camping in singles versus duos?
It's hard to say. I would say, yeah, in general, singles do seem to have more camping, but you can get camped in duos too. People will wait. Yeah. You'll like go to an area, no doors will be open, and you'll be like, everything's fine, and then you'll go upstairs, and you still get that. But I mean, that's part of the gameplay is definitely a lot slower and caters to being more careful. So I think like part of that as you play it, like you learn to be a lot more careful and then not take like just basically you won't even loot an area if you're like, well, we're in the top 20 and we're within the circle at the edge. Like there's going to be people just waiting around for people to walk in. But the gunplay in the game is definitely what keeps me coming back. The gunplay is so good and satisfying, and the whole attachment system and kind of, you know, upgrading your gear as you go, getting a 4X scope and all that. It's really good. I didn't get really to play any this weekend, but I'm really looking forward to playing more this week because I won my first solo. It was a little while ago, I think, since the last time we had the cast, but it was super exhilarating. Had a lot of top 10 finishes, only one solo win. Duos.
It's pretty good though. You've gotten a win.
Yeah, and it was, and I've almost had another win too. I had one game where I loaded up. It was super late at night, but I was tweaking some settings to make it run better, and I was like, I'll just test them out. I get 9 kills and finish second. It was like a really intense game, but it was like wasn't one that I was expecting to win. But it's really good, but it's different. It's different than H1Z1. It's not the same. It's definitely a lot less arcadey. The pace is slower, but I don't want to argue that it's more rewarding, but it definitely rewards like careful, cautious play, but also being aggressive when you need to. And it's when you do get into the top 10 or you do win, you just feel like you feel like you earned it. It doesn't feel random. I'm not saying H1Z1. I don't have as much experience with that game, so I can't say that when you win an H1, you just feel like, well, I out-random them. You still have to make good decisions. But in this game, it's so important about when you decide to take fights. Do you have a silencers on your guns? There's just so many other variables, I feel like, because of the attachment system, that kind of give it a lot more depth than something like H1, where in like H1, yes, there's a lot of strats, and you gotta be careful and play the game smartly if you're going to win. But you can also be a lot more aggressive in that game. Whereas like in this game, if you take shots at somebody or a team and you're by yourself and you miss them, it's like you're probably going to die, especially if you're in the top 20 or top 10, just because it's a lot more punishing. So I don't know, Brad, how do you feel about, like, do you agree with what I'm saying? What has been your experience with playing the game too? We played a little bit together at one point.
Yeah, we did. You know, I've been playing a lot of fours just because like a lot of my friends have been picking it up, and it's pretty rough. Unforgiving. I think optimization is definitely where should be their top priority at this point, because I don't know, I'm just getting sick and tired of like going near any town and my frames are under 60 FPS.
No, that's definitely a huge issue. Yeah, that's super frustrating. And everybody gets that regardless of, you know, it's not rig based, it's total optimization. Like, because I was wondering, because I was watching, you know, a lot of streamers, like Summit's playing it, a lot of people are playing this game. And so like I was like, it looks like his game's running better than mine. And then as soon as he got near one of the towns, it's just it's just chugs at like 30 or whatever. And that's huge issue.
I mean, by no means too, like I have a GTX 1070 and I'm getting like probably on average like 45 frames per second, like near a city or something. You know? Sometimes less if it's I don't know, maybe a fight's going on or something. But that can really. Oh, go ahead.
What settings is that on? I'm just curious.
I think I had everything on like. Well, actually, I haven't noticed much of a difference on anything from like if I run everything low to like maybe if I run everything on ultra. Like there needs to be a lot of things done for optimizations. So that is with that is with everything on ultra besides shadows and foliage, because I found out that if you have your foliage turned up and like you think you're hiding in something and like you think people can't see you, well,
they can.
If they have it turned down, they can definitely see you. So it's like
it's definitely a gameplay advantage. I learned that too. The same thing. I was like, I got that way down.
Yeah. So and so I don't know. I think my thing is.
So performance aside, though, but like what I'm saying, though, what I'm curious, like actual base, like the reason I'm excited about this game is the core of it, right? When let's say you're not, you know, when you're playing the game and we're not worrying about performance, because outside of the city stuff, I generally get like,
it's all right.
I'm getting over 100 frames most of the time. So that I hope will be obviously fixed. That's what they said they're working on that as like one of their number one priority. What do you think of like the actual mechanics and stuff and the stuff that separates it from H1 and the slower pace?
I think the biggest thing is like for the hours I've put in, I'm still learning like some of the gunplay. Like I just picked up like a car with a 8x scope for the first time, and I was in a really crucial moment when I needed it, and it was like, okay, I got to learn this as I go, because like there's no open range or anything for you to test weapons at other than like the loading screen, but you're lucky to even pick up a weapon if you load late.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like it's pretty well balanced. You know, when I get into H1, it's hard to want to. It's not exactly fun, I guess, because like the spawn they give you can really make or break your game. Where like,
I was just gonna say, like, as much as we talked about this a bit, but the whole picking your own spawn thing, as a lot of people thought that was gimmicky. I feel like at the beginning,
but it puts a whole layer of strategy in it, and it's nice.
That's what I mean about the depth of this game. Is like beyond the attachments, everything that add a ton of depth. You're totally right. Like being able to choose when you jump out, because especially like you can pretty much get, depending on your trajectory, obviously you have a limited amount of spaces, but you can glide for a while, and like you're pretty much, once you know the map, depending on when you get out, you're going to be able to get somewhere that's going to have a lot of loot, especially once you learn the map. So, and deciding when, like, am I going to go early? Am I going to wait? People are going to be there maybe if I wait too long. Yeah, like you said, that adds a huge layer of strategy, which I think is, I don't know. Like I said, I think that was kind of downplayed to be by a lot of people.
To me, feels like one of the biggest differences between Battlegrounds and H1Z1. That really does change the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, again, but when I say H1, like when people say H1Z1 killer and all that kind of stuff, what do you think about that? I think there's two different.
Well, the only reason why I'm playing H1 right now is like I played like last night after having a couple of rough rounds of like Battlegrounds, and it was strictly performance. Like because when I got into H1, I think I played 3 games with my friend, and one of them we had it with actually 2 of them I think we had with cheaters. So one person like wasn't getting any damage, and like his armor and stuff wasn't being blown off or whatever, and then like another one, this guy was like literally levitating and like speed hacking, like, and you couldn't shoot him. So I mean, like, and that was pretty much it for us. We were like, well, we're done with this game. But it was we got into it because it was like, oh my god, the frames are so nice. But then the hit registration, you know, the crafting, the way gas is done, or whatever you want to call it, like the barrier, it just was like, okay, I want to go back to Battlegrounds. I could see it as I don't know if it's going to kill the game, but it's definitely going to convert a lot of people. Like, I think if it goes on sale and they try it out, like, because I was looking at the stats, the player base has not dropped in H1 since the game came out.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of those players are playing Battlegrounds, and they're coming back for something, and I'm not sure what that is, but I don't know.
That's what I mean, is that I don't think that either game is going to cannibalize each other necessarily, because they're too different to me. Not that, like, I think it's going to force, like, when, like, the whole spec client stuff and H1 coming out and them announcing that, and I think there's certain things that Battlegrounds is forcing, but they're also different. I mean, to be honest, like, I haven't had any desire to go play H1 after playing Battlegrounds, after I feel like I turned the corner as far as understanding a lot of the gunplay and the map and stuff like that, and my own strategies for stuff that I like doing. But that doesn't mean that I'm never going to go. But like, I don't know if the update came out for is it this week that I think they're supposed to release
I think it's supposed to be this week.
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to try it out again, and hopefully it's improved, and I'll enjoy it, and it'll be a kind of a different, you know, faster pace. It's a different game and more arcadey, but I think they're both going to be, I think it's just, you're going to have 2 games that are going to be huge. And a lot of people are also saying that Battlegrounds, well, it's still the honeymoon stage, and I agree to a certain point, but I think it's beyond a honeymoon thing. The game is good enough and is competent enough, and it's so early on as far as like its cycle of it being available for everyone, that I guess, like I'm saying, that gives me a lot of hope that it's going to continue to just improve, and all that stuff with performance gets fixed.
I don't
because
think
it's a very competent game.
I don't think there is gonna, like, I don't think honeymoon phase applies, I think, to games that feel like there's going to be hype around it and then it's going to die down. But I think that Battlegrounds is a competent enough shooter, like you were saying already, to turn into kind of a stable streaming game. Like, people will keep coming back to it, because at least from what I've played in the beta, there wasn't anything game breaking where I was like, oh, I'm not going to play this until they fix this.
Right.
So I think that people are going to be still playing it throughout early access, because it's, you know, it doesn't have what I think of as like early access bugs, at least not that I noticed.
No, I mean, I think most of the frustration, I agree with Brad, would come down to like performance stuff, where you're just like, okay, I'm annoyed that I died there, or I was fighting in a city and I got a super huge slowdown on my PC.
Well,
feeling like
the thing to note too is, like, in early access, like, the servers were perfect. I mean, like, when you pressed F, it was like you're picking stuff up instantly and stuff like that. Now that it's just being hammered, I imagine, from the amount of people playing, like, it's actually kind of, it can be frustrating when, like, you're at a crucial moment and you're trying to pick something up or swap something out, and it just screws you over. I don't know.
Okay. Well, you sound like the verdict's out. I can't get a straight answer out of you. You sound like like you're between 2 girlfriends, and you can't. because I'm trying to. You're so like non-committal to like if you like.
I made it clear that like I will play wherever my friends are playing. Like I'm probably not gonna solo this very often.
Right.
I am 100% sold and happy with my purchase. Don't get me wrong.
That's fair.
But like I said, what's gonna get me to convert 100% to player unknowns is if my friends are converting as well. And so there's still like, and I feel like a lot of people are in this in between. And yeah, but I'm happy with it. I mean, for now, I could uninstall H1 right now, especially after this last cheating scenario that still hasn't been fixed.
Is it rampant right now or whatever? People are just cheating everywhere.
Well, as far as I know, it's been happening for a long time. Like, this is not my first experience with cheating, and like I saw on our live stream fail, some dude had a speed hack, and his name was literally like speed runner, and he's just going around saying like beep beep and then like killing people. So I mean, so it's obviously a problem, but they're not really doing much there. Where I don't feel cheated, or I don't see any crazy cheating in player unknown. So I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah, and that was the high. I mean, that was the main thing. I played a lot of that, just a ton of that this week, and also some Counter-Strike. So, I will defer over to you, Katie, and then we'll go to Brad, since I know you play Battlegrounds too. So,
yes, yeah, I played a little bit of Battlegrounds. Definitely not as much as you guys have. Let me check. Yeah, only 90 minutes time played in Battlegrounds.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, from what I can tell, it doesn't really seem like a game I would play in solo. Like, I am just so garbage at it right now. Like, I've played a couple solo games where I've had a pretty good, setup. I'd be in a house waiting. I'm well inside the ring, and then I'll know that this is the objective right way to play. Like, I'm safe, I'm set. I've gotten kills of people going into this little area, and I've run up on them and surprised them. But then that little part of me is like, you know what? I'm not going to be a pussy. I'm going to run around, and then I'll go out into the woods, and then I'll get shot from someone miles away. So, I mean, yeah, I'm just garbage at the game. I'm sure if I get, once I, practice some more, I do really enjoy playing it with other people, like when we played APL. So yeah, I really want to get more into it, because it seems like the kind of game that I really want to, learn the workings of, but really don't see any. The frame rate and just the overall, like, the movement of H1. I haven't played the game, but it looks like more attractive in that aspect. But as far as, like, stability and, like, the lack of bugs and cheaters, you're right. It's, Battlegrounds is the way to go.
Yeah, one thing I will say, one more thing on Battlegrounds, is that solo can be boring or frustrating at times, but it's really good if you're new to the game and you have some time and you really want to learn the gunplay and you want to learn the maps and stuff like that, and you don't mind just trying shit out, and if you have to requeue instantly, whatever, is play a lot of solos, and that'll teach you the game pretty fast, to be honest. That for me was like just grinding out. Like, I had a couple hours one night, and I was just like, I'm just gonna play solos and try like different guns and the scopes and all that kind of stuff, and like check out where areas to loot, and that kind of helps you turn the corner on that game pretty quick. So even if it's not going to be I think it shines in duos and teams, but it's good to just kind of grind that out, and I feel like you kind of get a better handle on the game pretty fast.
Okay, for sure.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll try that out some more. Definitely want to get into that. But other than that, save the big thing for last. But I played this game called Microgons, which we talked about last week. It's that chess game where the pieces all have those abilities. Oh yeah, that game actually that game was only $5. I picked that out day one, started playing it, and I'm like 4 hours into it. I've really been enjoying it. It's really there's some pieces that have some abilities that I think would be like, there's this one piece that you can it moves like a bishop, and I mean all the pieces have like health bars, and so you can bishop right next to a king, and then it can use an ability to poison it, where every turn it'll take damage, and it can stack. So, but there are things like that, and there's like this piece that's basically a bishop that can just do 20 damage from up to like a 3-block radius around it, which is pretty nuts. It's kind of balanced in that you have like, sort of ability points you have to spend that you can get back only one a turn. But for all the things like that are kind of like sketchy pieces, every single game I've played has been really, really close. Like, and coming from, you know, someone that loves chess, there's really a lot of potential with this game. But what sucks is that, you know, day one, I got a couple matches in ranked. The day two I play, I check the leaderboard. I'm 8th place on the worldwide leaderboard. And I'm thinking,
dang,
well, that's
dude.
Odd.
Impressive.
I've got 13 MMR. I'm in the division known as Wood, one step below Bronze. And then I jump into ranked, and I'm just unable to get any matches at all. So the player base right now for this game sucks.
Yeah,
that's the biggest flaw with this game. Is just, I don't know if it was just poor marketing. I haven't seen a single trailer for this anywhere. I mean, putting some money in something like that.
It has 13 reviews, so I mean,
yeah, it's only 13 Steam reviews.
You should take this upon yourself. You enjoy this game. You have a certain amount of pull.
You're right. Yeah.
I mean, you're on the podcast right now. Say the game again.
Listen, people. Here's another thing. Yeah, I was thinking about making a video called like Microgons. Please play this game. Like, not even buy it. Just, well, actually, what ended up happening is only like a couple days after being on Steam at $5, they actually changed it to free to play, and they have one of the worst free to play models like I could think of. It's free to play, and the thing is, there are 24 pieces total. Like, you pick 6 different pieces for your board on your team, and there are 24 total. In the free to play version, you only get access to 12 of the 24 pieces. And if you want to use the other 12, you have to buy the $4.99 all characters pack, which I'm not sure if that's pay to win, because I think the game's pretty balanced, but that's more than half the characters of the game you can't use without dropping some cash.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a little sketchy. But other than that, I've really been enjoying it. Another gripe is there's no local multiplayer. You can only go online with other people, so that's kind of a really missed opportunity, I think. But yeah, the game's really good. It's called Microgons. It's on Steam. Hit me up. I'll 1v1 any day. Whoop anyone's ass any day of the week. No, but yeah, the game's really good. But other than that, the main thing I played this week, which inspired a legendary stream, Dark Souls 3's final Dark Souls 3's final DLC, The Ring
Tell
City,
us about
dropped.
it. Tell us about it. This is your chance.
Shit. Let's go.
I'm not gonna lie, the stream was lit, dude. Watching you do that final boss. Woo!
Oh yeah. It was great. It was it absolutely made up for the first DLC. To give you kind of an idea, this is the second of 2 DLCs that are part of a season pass. They're both priced the same. The first DLC is only one area with one boss capitalizing or capping that area, and then one more optional boss to find. It's the biggest area of the series, and the boss has 3 phases, which so much budget went into that final boss of that first DLC. But overall, you could beat all of it in 3 hours, and it's $15. And yeah, so a lot of people were not happy with that. Yeah, so that's where my expectations for the Ring City, the second DLC, were kind of small. I mean, one thing, and this just made everything so much better, is that I was looking at trailers. I wasn't watching the trailers. I wanted to see the comments. I wanted to see what people were thinking. And people are saying like, "Oh, this looks meh, just like the first DLC. God, I hope we get more than 2 bosses this time." But yeah, after playing it, instead of taking me 4 hours like the first DLC, it took me a good 12 hours to see all the content in the Ring City.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not bad. And it's what boggles my mind is it's the same price, and instead of 2 bosses, there are 4 bosses. It's on this almost the same level of content as Artorias of the Abyss for the first Dark Souls. Well, yeah, somewhere around there. But yeah, 2 huge areas to explore. Some really good fan service with a certain character, with like a cutscene you can get from doing a certain. It's I mean, I won't spoil it here, but yeah, the bosses are all really well done. And the final boss, not the one that you saw, APL, but the final boss of the DLC of Dark Souls, because this is gonna be like the last content for Dark Souls, was absolutely incredible, and I really enjoyed that. So yeah, and then they also cool. There were added a couple new maps for the ranked matches you can play. Well, I don't think it's ranked, but the PvP matches you can play. Also, I didn't know about this, but they added this troll weapon where you have 2 great shields that are just doors, and so it's a giant door that you hold around, and you can just bash people with this giant door and push them. So that's an amazing addition. But I mean, yeah, it was great. There were only a couple times. There's this one area where this certain enemy is shooting you, and it's like floating in the sky. There's no way you can shoot it with like bow and arrows, or a bow and arrow, or like any kind of ranged weapon. It's such a high health bar, hard to hit, and it can one-shot you super fast. And the way to get rid of that, it's kind of like they want you to play it stealthily, where you like hide behind, like it has animations of like waiting to like, not see you anymore or lose sight of you, which is kind of like a first for Dark Souls, but I don't really think it worked, because the way you get rid of it was there's a certain enemy that you find like later on in that area that you kill that makes the enemy, the flying enemy attacking you, go away. But having to basically, I'm going to go into some super Dark Souls lingo here, so bear with me. Bloodborne, there's that guy Jira. He was on the Gatling gun shooting you, but the area you were in was filled with buildings and walls to hide from him from. Basically take that and put it into Blighttown from Dark Souls 1, which was a super open swamp that could poison you, and there were very little areas to hide from. That's kind of what it felt like. So it was kind of bullshit. But yeah, other than that area, I would give it a good 8 out of 10, this DLC. Some pretty nice stuff.
Are you happy with your full Dark Souls 3 experience there?
Yeah,
both DLCs.
Everything.
Oh, for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, the first DLC, it wasn't bad. It was just really short.
What do you think, though? But I mean, because do you just think it was the first DLC? Do you think they rushed it, or like, how do you say that you could finish the first DLC in 3 or 5 hours, and then you get a 12/15-hour DLC for the same price? Like, how do you? I don't know. What do you think? What do you think went on there?
Well, let me see. It kind of made me think of. So for Bloodborne, they originally planned on doing 2 DLCs for that game also, right. But for that they kind of merged like both of them together for one expansion, and it kind of feels like that's what they should have done for both of these, all of this content, because the DLC does follow a certain story of one character, and like these like it does follow a storyline instead of being its own isolated like content. So right. it is kind of I wouldn't say essential, but it is important that you play the first DLC, before you play, the Ring City. But
right.
I mean, ultimately, how it's split up, I think it does feel a little forced into, like making 2 pieces of content to space out. But I appreciate that they took the time to. I mean, both pieces of DLC feel very distinct. In where the first one you're going inside that snow painting and the Ring City. I mean, I can't even describe the setting of that one, but yeah, so they feel distinct enough that feels like it doesn't feel rushed at all. It feels like they separated it not sure what the word I'm looking for is, but they separated it
poorly.
But I think so, yeah. But they were able to take each vision and fully elevate it. Even though there wasn't a lot of content in the first one.
I think your brain is slowly coming to accept that Dark Souls, that it's over. That it's.
I know, man. It's tough to wrap my head around, because
how many times have you masturbated in the fetal position since finishing the last DLC for Dark Souls?
Oh, I've been unable to. I mean, I didn't have the webcam on.
Not even with the tears. Not even. I told you, get in the fetal position, dude. It does things.
No. I mean, I don't know about during the stream. Like, I had the webcam off for a reason.
Yeah.
But ever since I finished it, just the thought of, I don't know what the future is going to hold. You know, they might make a Bloodborne 2. I really hope not, because that game is pretty, you know, self-contained pretty well. Okay. Because Miyazaki was talking about, you know, he says Dark Souls is done, but I think Dark Souls is done as in this series is over. Bloodborne is pretty much not Dark Souls in his eyes, I think. Where I think we'll get another game with, you know, this gameplay, this kind of storytelling, this kind of, you know, figuring out the story through, you know, item descriptions, all the Souls stuff, and maybe another game. I think we'll see more of those, but I'm pretty happy that they're letting Dark Souls go, because like I remember sitting on my leather couch watching what's her face on the Spike VGA Awards announce Dark Souls 2, just thinking, what the fuck? What are they going to get out of this? And then they made a third one. So I think they've done all they can with this sort of setting, and I'm happy for them to kind of break away in the future. Hopefully they make something pretty different. Well, I personally want Cyberpunk Souls. I would spend infinite money on that. Fuck you.
So just to segue out of that over to Brad, I was going to say the only person that's more happy than you that the Dark Souls franchise, you know, has come to an end, at least right now, for what we understand, is Brad. That's the only other person that's as excited.
And I hope they don't come out with a Bloodborne, like Jesus.
Okay.
Of course, but that's good. I'm glad. Opinions. Yeah, you know, I'm glad that you felt like you were happy with it. That's good. I'm glad. It's good to end on a good note. Like, you wouldn't have wanted the DLC to be, you know, trash, and then that's a real sour note to leave in everybody's mouth. So that's good. Yeah, all right, Brad. We've been going long on this subject because Katie talked about Dark Souls for 2 hours. But no, I'm kidding. I also talked about Battlegrounds. But go ahead and hit me with what you've been playing. I know we talked about Battlegrounds already, but
I was trying to play Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
But I can't get back into it, man. Yeah, I got through. I don't know if it's the games, like if it's not for me or something, but it's just not grabbing me, and I can't keep playing it. I might try again. But right now I'm not feeling it.
I have not heard good things about that game.
You know what? It's actually okay. As it stands, I would give it, like, personally, like a 7 out of 10.
Says the guy who can't bring himself to play it again.
Well, I recognize it's a problem with me in the way I play games, though.
Okay. Is it though in this case with this game?
Well, it's not. There's a lot of downfalls and things that could be improved upon, but I know for the fans and the people that are really into those kind of RPG games, like I think they'll take a lot more from it. I'm trying to step back and when I give a 7 out of 10, I would that's a rating I would probably give for in general. But yeah, I think I might try to get back into it. I think I'm also going to try and get back into Rainbow Six. I've been watching some streams on that, and it looks like they've improved so much on that game. I hope I'm not too late for getting back into it.
Never too late, dude. Never playing Rainbow Six.
But I'm preparing myself, and I was going to ask you, Katie Zen, if you are ready for this Thursday for Rust. Because the first Thursday of every month is when the official servers reset, and it is go time. So this Thursday is like my whole group, which I added Katie Zen. Well, I believe Brandon did too. I added Katie Zen as a Facebook friend, which was a unique experience on its own.
I did too. I got that Katie Zen Facebook ad, dude, and let me tell you, I went McLurkerson.
Oh god,
that boy. Let me tell you, Katie, I finished like 12 times that night.
There's a lot of embarrassing photos on there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of. I mean, I've been on there since I was 13 years old. So
I know. Dude, there was a treasure trove. But I want you to know that I respect the sanctity of the Facebook ad, and I would never use any of those photos against you. Okay, so you don't have to worry about it. Brad, on the other hand, that is a risky ass ad that you would add Brad because I don't think he has any of the restraint that I do. So good luck.
Yeah.
I think the memes have they been created yet, Brad? Or are you working on we'll see what happens.
Now I know I can never really defect from KBMOD because I have so much incriminating shit against me.
But yeah, sorry, go ahead, Brian.
But, yeah, I'll have to definitely jump on there with you and take over.
Yeah,
because like there's no better time than that to really like start making fortresses and shit like that, right?
Yeah, to experience Rust in the way that the developers really intend it to be played. It's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate that you chose to play with my stupid friends and myself. But I think it'll be a good experience to at least do through like one wipe of just grinding out like clan gameplay on Rust. So all my buddies are getting ready. We've purposely been holding out on Rust just to get ready for the wipe because when we play quite a bit. So yeah, it'll be interesting. That's happening this week. I'll let you guys know how it goes next episode.
Cool.
But hopefully you will too, Katie's in. But
yeah, I'll see if I can jump on.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
But yeah, that's it for me.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna move on here. Go ahead.
No, don't even.
No, go ahead.
You can't just interject and then
you can't back out.
I know. I was gonna ask if you think that Rust on the first Thursday of every month is the Dark Souls of FPS games.
Oh my!
And then I realized, what a dumb thing to say.
Well, it's out there now.
You've become everything you hate.
Yeah. Okay. Dang, dude.
Would you say it's like Dark Souls with guns and bone clubs?
Good God.
Wow. It's like Dark Souls with rocks.
Brad, can I just ask you, because this write-up's beautiful, do you mind if I read this in my most cheesy promo voice? Because this is...
I actually didn't write it.
Who wrote this? Did Brandon?
No, Chad or Andrew from KBMOD.
Chad. So. Okay, thank you, Chad. This is beautiful. All right, I'm gonna go for it then, because this is a nice little...
Scott, why don't you tell us what's going on in KBMOD?
You know what, Brandon? I will. Okay. Your boy Capsar brought us another editorial in his Policy and Games series, a look at tech policy and the gaming world. This time he covered the recent happenings surrounding internet privacy and what our ISPs selling our browsing history actually means. We then had a whopping 4 review articles come out. First, Tim took a look at the first proper hockey game on PC in many years, old-time hockey. He also gave us his thoughts on the next installment in a stealth series, Sticks, Shards of Darkness, and Beat Cop. He enjoyed one of these and didn't enjoy the other, but y'all motherfuckers need to check out the site if you want to know which is which. Finally, resident cool dad Zoot Gawkins, aka Zima, aka Zoom Gawker, aka Zoomar, played the most recently released Vikings Wolves of Midgard and gave us the come down on all good and bad. Check out all these exciting published articles on KBMOD.com.
Wow, all right. That's pretty good.
We just need the music. Yeah, we just have to. You know what? I'll put a bed of music under that one.
Put that in post. Yeah. Before you read it, we need
the audio clickbait, kind of the teaser. Yeah. The teaser there.
I didn't really do a real voice or try to do a real voice to the end, but yeah, I'll commit next time harder. But that was good. That was a good write-up. Thank you for doing that, Chad. And there you go. So some good stuff. The policy and game series that Capstar's doing is really interesting. Like, if you want to break down on the whole internet privacy stuff.
If you want to cry and
yeah, that's true.
And slowly weep about our disappearing privacy here in the United States.
Exactly. So yeah, thank you for writing that, Chat.
Why don't you keep that voice going for talking about some April Fool's jokes that we got the most laughs out of.
My God, I just love April Fools, and we've got a hot list coming right at you here right now. Brad, I believe you put most of these in here. We start with a Twitch status.
Why don't we just talk about, like, let's each pick our favorite ones or something, or like our favorite and worst, because some of these are just, I mean, I don't know, they're fine, but I'll go with mine because this was a Twitch one, so it happens to be the first one on the list, but it's also the one I thought was funny. Because here's the thing. I thought this was good because it fits like all the criteria of a good April Fool's joke, which is like it doesn't really harm anyone. It's kind of funny, you know, like it's basically just a day to be like, that's kind of a dumb thing to do. So for one day, we on Twitch we replaced cheer emotes, which are the polygonal gifs in chat when you cheer in a channel. And the actual emotes are really nice, like very, very crisp images. But these got replaced with some different ones, some very artistic ones, being drawn in MS Paint.
God. I was very confused as to what was going on when I started streaming, because I was like, did I find? And then I was like, okay, no, I didn't fuck up. This has got to be.
We actually had a lot of people asking if we could just keep those ones from now on.
Permanent. Yeah. It's pretty good.
I thought that was pretty good. It's like low effort, nonchalant.
Yeah. It's not. It doesn't really it doesn't hurt anybody. You're right.
And you notice it like. The thing I like is that it's something that people just notice, and they're like, "Oh, this is dumb." Instead of you having to make a big deal out of the fact that you did an April Fool's joke. Those are the ones I don't like.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Another good one I saw on Twitch was from if you have better Twitch TV, all of those custom emotes like lol or like haha, those were all changed to be some form of Pepe. So
yeah,
it was,
I did see that. That's pretty.
Depending on how you look at it, it was either pure cancer or it was pretty. It was pretty funny.
But, fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those. And then what was it? They also changed Fish Moly was one of those, and it's just a giant green slug of Pepe, and that was the one I definitely saw spam the most by far. But yeah, that was a good one. I want to talk about one real quick, because I'm not sure if this is an April Fool's joke or not, but oh my god. Okay, if you're familiar with ukulele, it's made by the same people that made Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong 64. So this happened to be published on April 1st. It could be seen as a joke, but there was a lot of legit effort put into this. So they basically... Who here is familiar with the famous rap from Donkey Kong 64, the Donkey Kong rap, the legendary song? It's great. They got the original singer of that back together, and they created a ukulele rap. And now that premise sounds pretty good. And while I really do appreciate, the thought behind this and the respect being paid, it is the most cringy thing I think I've ever listened to in 2017. It's a struggle to make it through. I mean,
and I think that's why it was uploaded on first. So
yeah. Oh, but that's what's tricky about it. It doesn't seem like it's it's a joke. It seems like it was just made badly.
But here's the thing: if you upload it on April 1st, you get to pick how people will perceive it. Either if it's really bad and people hate it, they're like, this is just a bad April Fool's joke.
No, it's smart that way.
But if it was a real thing, then they just pass it off as an April Fool's joke. They're playing the game both sides.
Yeah.
I do love the comment section on this video. Just it's all JonTron. It's all politics. You guys are a joke. But yeah, that was a good one.
There were a couple other good ones I saw. The Witcher did a little one where they said they were gonna release a Geralt figurine, which is the image of him in the bathtub. And again, a lot of the comments are like, "Why does this have to be a joke? Let me buy this."
Right? Yeah, I would totally buy that. Yep,
it's so good.
Yeah, pretty sure PC Gamer is very sad that that's not a real thing. They use that image on literally everything about CD Projekt Red. The only other one that I noticed that I thought was really good. Well, Razer did one that was like very high production value, which looked like it took a lot of effort. And so I guess that was kind of impressive. And Google Maps did a pretty cool one where if you just go to Google Maps on your phone and wherever you are, you can play Miss Pac-Man on the map you're looking at. So the streets become Pac-Man. It's honestly pretty impressive. Again, that's also a good April Fool's joke if it's just a mini game or an Easter egg like that. I thought that was pretty good.
I think Reddit usually does kind of like experiments.
Oh yeah, Reddit did the place r/place.
Yeah,
that was good.
That was neat.
And did you see Rocket League's kind of fake news update? They basically did one. And they said, we've gotten a lot of complaints that our bronze, silver, and gold ranks aren't flavorful enough for Rocket League, so we have a new ranking system. And it basically goes unranked to potato, then onion, then corn, then broccoli, then radish, purple cabbage, and grand eggplant. So that was a pretty good, just a funny, dumb little post.
I was gonna say that's pretty weak until grand eggplant. Like that's all right.
Yeah,
that takes it. Yeah. I really hope they incorporate grand eggplant somewhere in the future.
Did you guys see any really bad ones?
The
worst one I saw was Hearthstone. Just literally like posted a fake card that was stupid. It like wasn't funny. It was.
Oh really?
It was just pretty low effort. But that was dumb. I didn't really see any other ones that actively seemed bad.
There's this one guy who tweeted something about like a Netflix partnership about bringing this old series he did back that some people liked, but really it was just an insult to all of his fans, and he should be ashamed of himself.
See, those are always bad. Names. Those are always bad. That's up there with like, haha, my girlfriend's pregnant.
Right.
Yeah, just not good. The best one I've seen, which actually is some form of news in this this April Fool's joke. I'm going on Steam, and all of a sudden I see 8-bit Bayonetta on new releases, and immediately my dick it grew several sizes larger. And I click on it, and Platinum Games has made this this not too great, basically kind of like an endless shooter. Of like an 8-bit Bayonetta, like she's firing her guns and angels trying to kill her, and it's got this cool 8-bit remix of the fight theme from the first game. And it's harmless. It was pretty, it was cute. I played it for a little bit, but what's really cool is that after you unlock all of the achievements, your reward is a link to a web page on Sega's website, which is a countdown I think it's 8 days left right now with a darkened picture of Bayonetta in the background. So, and then my dick grew even more after seeing that. So, like, I mean, that could be a few. I'm not thinking Bayonetta 3, and I don't think they're gonna announce it this way, but I think we're gonna see Bayonetta 1 and 2 on PC. So that would be fantastic.
You get did you get sexual gratification from any other April Fool's jokes?
That's how Katie's rating this as a sexual gratification.
Just that
it resonated.
If nothing came out, then it's just not even worth bringing up. But yeah, anything else you guys?
Luckily for us, April Fool's fell on a Saturday this year, so I felt like it was pretty tame compared to a typical April Fool's Day, which was actually quite nice. Because I feel like normally you basically can't read social media at all.
No,
normally April Fool's Day without just constantly being annoyed.
We were talking about that precast where some companies were doing April Fool's jokes as early as like Saturday morning.
Yeah, no, I saw some on Friday
or Friday morning. Yeah. That's what I meant.
Yeah, like people were trying to get those April Fool's jokes in before they clocked out for the day because they didn't want to have to do stuff on Saturday.
Yeah.
I remember last year we were ranting about this because of how early. Like it's like, come on, like stop. Just do it on the day that it's meant for and keep it confined to that. Like we don't need people getting that far ahead of the curve. No one's like, oh my God, dude, that would have been way more impactful if they did it Friday. You know what I mean? It's just like it's unneeded. It's way too try hard.
It's definitely doing it on a Friday. I feel like can definitely looks like you're trying to maximize like the value you get out of it, like the meme value or the social media reach or whatever it is you're optimizing for with your social media April Fool's strategy. But but I don't know. This was pretty tame. I didn't see anything that really like. Normally, there's something that actually like offends me because it's so stupid. But I didn't really see any of that this year. But I also wasn't looking very hard.
Can you say meme value one more time so that I can clip that?
Oh, I mean, meme value is a real thing.
Perfect.
That's all I need right there.
Perfect. We can talk about the philosophy around meme.
Oh no,
value.
I'm not saying it's not a real thing. I just love hearing you say meme and value together. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's move on from April Fools onto
news that is not fake.
Real. Yes, exactly. Perfect segue.
We finally have.
Well, it may sound fake, but it's not.
It sounds fake, but it is the realest of real. Destiny 2, which we had heard rumors. We were hoping Destiny 2, my friends, is coming to PC.
On PC. Ooh. Pretty exciting. Destiny is a game at this point, after all of its DLC and, the state of the game. I think most people really, and a lot of people still really enjoy Destiny and are really looking forward to the second one. And as somebody that I guess I didn't have a PS4 when it came out, but I guess I could play it, but just wasn't interested because it wasn't on PC, like I'm sure most of you guys. But it looked intriguing. I'm excited about this, though. It probably means, boys, that if I'm going to play Destiny 2, that they're going to tie this to Windows 10, right? Like I'm not going to play it on Windows 7.
I didn't think about that wrinkle, but
I know for me, I know for everybody else, you guys are all fine, but for me, I'm just like, so I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm excited. I'm going to have to fucking upgrade.
I am sure Microsoft's business development team has already, in contact.
Yeah, there's just zero chance that. That's not going to be the case, but no, pretty exciting news. Was pretty big news this week, and Deej, who was the community manager and a guy that actually I did a video with back in the day for Machinima. I think it was a PAX Prime where I went to Bungie's studios and he kind of took me around, and it was really cool. But anyway, Deej had a Destiny 2 roadmap tweet. Where they had the story reveal, and then he said there's going to be a gameplay reveal in May, beta this summer, and then launch in September. So
that's pretty soon.
It's coming up. It's pretty quick. It's not going to be too long away. Are you guys excited about this? I don't think anybody here played the first Destiny, right? Am I right?
And I returned it.
Oh, okay. I'm starting to notice a pattern with Brad and games that aren't Rust.
No, I was pissed. I was so pissed. I had no idea that the majority of the game was like a grind fest. So you finish like the story and like you finish it in a day, and then basically like the rest of the game, quote unquote gameplay, is like playing on the same map, just rehashed, just trying to get more gear. Right. Like I was so pissed because it was like
you thought it was going to be some open world.
Well, I just thought there was going to be more to the story, but I just like when I basically finished it in one sitting, and then when I finished it, it was like, what? Like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I heard a lot of that, and that's why I added the whole part where like now it seems like a lot of people have changed their tune if they stuck with it, but I think that turnoff was pretty common, like you're saying, Brad. People were like,
"What is this?" I feel like the expansions maybe helped some of that, but it didn't seem like it was very content rich at the start. And I mean, it seems like Destiny has had a lot of there's probably like a lot of internal stuff that we don't know about, like the development of Destiny and all that, because originally it was supposed to be, like a 10-year game or something. Like they wanted to turn it into an MMO style where they just basically Destiny is the game, and you're always playing Destiny, and it just keeps building on itself, kind of in the way that World of Warcraft continues having expansions, but it's still World of Warcraft. But I guess they, at some point they decided to just not do that and break and make a Destiny 2. So I mean, I'm excited for it just because I think it seemed like a lot of people liked Destiny. It seems like a game I would like. Because well,
you like the grind too, Brand. You played Diablo, like
I mean, I think MMOs there is grinding in MMOs. Like I mean, I remember playing PlanetSide 1 back in the day, like when you're talking about FPS MMO hybrids. Granted, that was a long time ago, and I didn't really play PlanetSide 2 a whole lot. But I think I'm intrigued by, you know, an FPS MMO idea, and I don't think that based on like what I watched and what I heard from people, it didn't really sound like Destiny fit the MMO moniker. Like it wasn't really an MMO, like Brad was saying. But I think they will have to, like, they're going to have to make Destiny 2 bigger and better. And I think one of the obvious ways to do that is make it a little more open world. Make it, you know, especially if it's going to be on PC. Like, I think there are bigger opportunities you can have. And I don't know, you know, allow people to mod the UI, allow people to, you know, I don't know, like there's just more they could do with it. So I'm excited. I mean, I'll probably wait and see, similar to how I do everything else. You know, if they have like a closed beta or something, I'm certain I'll give it a chance. But we'll see. I'm just glad it's coming to PC. It seems like a game that, frankly, always should have been on PC.
Yeah.
So I'm glad this one will be.
All right. And it remains to be seen. Will it make me upgrade my PC to Windows 10? Stay tuned. Will this be the one? Will this be the one? Because I know you all are on the edge of your seat. But honestly, I've talked about it so much at this point that would actually be, that'll be the biggest thing, guys. The week that I actually upgrade to Windows 10, whenever that be, God forbid it be soon. Hopefully not.
Well, the funny thing is you ran out of time for it to be free. So now you're going to actually pay for it. Microsoft, that's what I mean. Microsoft gets you on both ends.
It's gonna be. I'm gonna be.
Well, he's still eligible for one upgrade, and if you have a disability, you can get it for free.
Okay. Well, I have a disability, a mental disability, so I should have a free copy. I should be fine. All right. So this is a story in regards to League of Legends. We don't talk League of Legends all that much, but we want to talk about this because
it's important
of the bigger story. Yeah. So
policy.
It's kind of an unusual policy. So League was banning players that were playing characters, heroes, whatever, in a different way. And they claim in this post on the forums that basically some of these players fell through the cracks of detection. They claim their system's 99.9%, you know, whatever. Players audited were correctly disciplined with their system. So like intentional feeders, bots, cheaters, rage quitters, all that kind of stuff. But they said in some very rare instances, players who chose extremely unusual picks, so, you know, going against the meta or whatever else, could end up getting audited as well through this system that they have. And when they dug deeper, they said it was usually the result of poor communication with their team that caused extreme frustration and pain. And basically, people that would report them would interpret this poor teamwork as intentionally trolling. So anyway, kind of an interesting, what are your guys' thoughts on this even being something that, you know, could be reported for? Because it
sounds like it's tough for me to read this and really understand how severe they're talking, because like
they really try to downplay it.
Yeah. Like in the high level meta, you know, there aren't that many heroes being played. Right. So, like they say in one of these bullet points, they feel this will only happen to a few players a year. Right. That is literally what it says, a few players a year. And so if that's the case, I'm curious why it even warranted a blog post or a forum post.
Right.
Because that seems like you're literally they're going to, if it happens, they're going to lock the person's account. The player will get a message to reach out to support. And so, like, that seems crazy. But if it's only happening to a few people a year, I guess it's not a big deal. I think maybe the philosophy is what feels weird to me, that there's, like, this is not necessarily even a conduct issue. It's like you are choosing something so far off the meta that you potentially get temporarily suspended for it. Which I think no other game even, I don't know, I feel like no other game, this isn't even an issue that crops up, except, I don't know, maybe Dota or other MOBAs that have that same kind of meta.
Right.
But I think, Brad, you had wanted to talk a little bit about like the analogy to maybe Counter-Strike, and you're in competitive play and you pick a gun that is not used in the meta. Like should that same kind of thing apply in that way to other games?
Well, I just feel like even Rainbow Six Siege, where your character choice is so important, like the map and team play and balance and what the other team is doing. Like I just feel like it is so strange to me that they're even banning people to begin with that are like playing a different character. Like why is that a rule that they can't challenge themselves to play something else? I think the wordage here is that after review, we feel a 14-day ban for imperfect communication, and then in quotes, when there is a clear intent to win matches, is too harsh. Which I just feel like,
that seems clear to me.
Yeah, right. I mean, obviously,
but just like what spawned the discussion and the approval of, like, this guy's playing a different character than normal, let's give him 2 weeks on the ban hammer. Like,
the fact that even if they're auditing these cases individually anyway, and then still, do you know what I mean? Like, what I'm trying to figure out is, once it goes through the audit, is this isn't being reviewed by a person yet, or it is, though, by the very nature, right? Like, somebody's looking at this case.
Well, somebody's clearly reporting a user for like, oh, this person's like playing, like they're probably getting these from somebody like trying one champ as a main or something like that.
Right, exactly. But I'm saying this is looked at. They aren't just banned off of somebody actually has to look at each of these, right? And like you said, now they're auditing what that looks like. So like you're saying, to me, the fact that a 14-day suspension, if the person can tell that this person is trying to win the game and he's just maybe not communicating or saying stuff to his teammates, like no shit. That's way too harsh. Like, I don't understand why that was even a policy.
I don't even know why he's getting banned, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, I understand that, like, it's competitive, but like, it's not like money's on the line. It's like you have to deal with idiots all the time. But like, is that a bannable offense that you're not playing the way the game was intended to be played by like somebody else? Like,
it definitely seems weird to me. I think because the meta is not codified in the game. So like when you're picking champions or something, you're not seeing these are meta picks and these are off meta picks. So I feel like that is the place where it feels weird to me that if you're just playing the game and you have good intent, being banned or even like having your account locked temporarily feels weird to me. But if it literally is only a few cases a year, it's hard for me to like get that upset about it. But it's if this is such a big problem, then it seems like you should put it in the game some way, right? Maybe like a warning message on the champion screen or something that is like, hey, this character, I don't know, take it out of the game. I don't know. It seems weird that they push this down to the players.
Yeah, but I agree. It's the bigger discussion of like how, like, for a game to, and I understand meta and all that stuff's important. It's like people just automatically assume if you lock in a champ that, but like to actively punish somebody for using, and Mike made a good point in this game, like why would you include a character, gun, or mechanic or hero that you'll actively punish people for playing? But overall, they're talking about within the meta of the game. But to enforce, that's the other reason that I stopped playing League of Legends, because it's, God, beyond the toxicity of it, the whole meta stuff, and that's kind of where I get annoyed with MOBAs in general. I'm not saying that shooters and stuff don't have a, like in Counter-Strike, like I'd say the guns are the most balanced / overpowered with the pistols that it's ever been, but you can pretty much use any gun in Counter-Strike at this point, other than maybe the fucking MG. And it's like people give you the benefit of the doubt because you can get kills with it, but this is a bigger discussion of like that's kind of crazy to punish people if they are clearly trying to win. You know what I mean? Like you're looking at this case and it's like, this guy's not feeding. He's doing his best. I don't know. Like the fact that even is a thought is kind of scary. I don't know.
There's some vague language in here that it's, without being involved in the League community, it's hard for me to know really what this, like, the extent to which this would affect someone, but they say we want players who enjoy playing off-meta picks but massively disrupt their team to learn and adjust their communication on their own without being banned.
Right. And one of these is how they talk about the process. The player gets feedback on how they can communicate when they're trying to do with what they're trying to do and how their team can win without ruining the experience of people they play with. After that, player support will unlock their account. Like, I just find it I don't know, just this, it's the emphasis is on communication here because
right.
I don't know.
I kind of wish they would have given examples of like what would and would not qualify. But I mean, I understand why they didn't.
I mean, I've been a raging, swearing, fucking red in the face league player. So it's like, I haven't played the game in years, but I understand, like, it's very frustrating when somebody locks in with a champ to play a role like jungle or whatever else, where it's not, and they don't communicate. So I understand, like, the report. I would probably report that person too. Be like, even if it looks like they're trying to win, it's like, why are they doing that? It seems like they're just trying to get a rise out of. So I understand.
That's the thing is, so
but
maybe
is
with
bannable. Is it a bannable
is they're not. They're saying it's not. They're not going to ban them now. They're just going to lock their account,
right?
And they have to like talk to someone at support to get feedback on their play style or something. It seems like such an odd thing to require of someone. But like you're saying, maybe this is the thing that protects the experience better. Maybe you want them doing this, even though I think it's a little bit passing the buck to their support team instead of changing the game and making the game more clear that, like, if there's an off meta pick that has the potential to get your account locked, even if you're giving it your all and playing the best you can, then you just shouldn't allow that character to be picked or something. Like, the game should not allow that. It does feel weird to say that there is a way you can play right and still get locked out of your account.
Right. Yeah. No, it's interesting. We'll have to. I don't know. It is an interesting discussion, and again, the whole idea that, well, exactly what you said, that you could feel like you're playing the game. I mean, right? People are going to argue, well, it's not in the meta, and that this champion should never be, used in this position, and But again, to punish
but it's
somebody,
fine for the community to say that, right? The community can say that. It's different for Riot to say that if you play this off-meta pick, there's potential you get your account locked. And I think that that's where I would say, if you care about the meta to that extent, then you, as the steward of the game, should modify the game so that, like,
lock out champs that can't play jungle, man.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. This ADC, all these ADCs that aren't going to thrive in the jungle, or these support characters that can't play jungle, lock them out.
Right. Just make it.
I mean, you're right.
Make it more formal. Where, like, if you're gonna play jungle, you get to choose from these champs, and if you're gonna play mid, you get to choose from these champs. Like, And I understand why they don't do that, because that's that would upset just as many people, I'm sure. But I think that it's weird to take that half stance that, like, there is some acknowledgement that, like, meta plays a part in their decision to remove someone's access to their account. Even if it's not that big a deal, right? It's not like a huge deal to message someone in support and get your account unlocked, but it's the precedent it sets, I think, that is odd.
Right. Okay. Well, from possibly a little bit of head scratching from exactly what they're trying to achieve over at Riot, we go on full-blown retard mode. Sorry, a little strong on that. And of course, we're talking about For Honor players. God, if you play For Honor, you must really hate me. No. But this is a Kotaku article that talks about For Honor players who are threatening a boycott.
If I can threaten a boycott, hold on. Let me give this segue another chance. I was thinking of a good segue from the developer removing access to your account to you removing your own access to your account.
Well done.
For Honor players threatened to boycott.
They did boycott.
They did. Sorry, they did. And is that what caused they did. So as much as I would like to say that boycotting a $60 game, a game that you already paid $60 for, I think they said around 11,000 people on the Reddit post who are very unhappy with. Again, we've covered this story 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago about how all of the unlockables basically in this game are pretty much ungrindable, and you can never unlock everything just playing the game as intended. And you would, the time that it would take and all that stuff, people are not happy with the kind of steel that you earn, I think is the currency or whatever. You know what do? You go on Reddit, you go on the subreddit, and you say, we're not going to take it anymore. You know what? We took it once. We paid $60 for a game that should have been 30 at most. But you know what? Now we're gonna take a stand. And they got somewhat of a response from
Ubisoft. They
did reply in the thread.
Someone saw this thread.
Someone saw it,
and they
didn't actually scream into the void entirely. They didn't scream into the void entirely.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people upvoted this thread. I mean, I think that maybe the most shocking thing from this whole scenario is that there is a thread on the For Honor subreddit capable of getting 12,500 upvotes.
That's true. That is the biggest story, I think. Because at any given time, 12,500 people are not even playing the game. I believe the numbers were 4 or 5K or so and dwindling. So, but yeah. So
Ubisoft, they did respond that they went through all the points they raised, which I think were mostly around like the stuff we talked about in a prior episode, like matchmaking issues. The steel, the currency that you buy stuff with in game, and they said that they went through all the points they raised and will be addressing them. Which and they also basically they improved all of the income, like the currency income from playing For Honor matches. So hey, look, don't say that Reddit is not a place of change, because this boycott.
I mean,
prompted some action. So I mean, I don't know that it's
I love the comments here. Somebody had a screenshot of like a fucking Steam groups back in the day where there's a boycott Modern Warfare 2 and then in quotations, we want dedicated servers group.
Oh, it's so good.
That is a classic.
That is a classic. Wow. What fools. God bless them. Yeah, no, it's pretty funny. I have to say, one of my favorite parts, though. I mean, again, and if people that enjoy For Honor and really like, despite its flaws, like I totally understand liking a flawed game. Listen, I played Counter-Strike Source for years, okay, and I love that game a lot more than I should. But also, that game was never $60. But for the quotes for this Kotaku article, the question was put to this guy I don't even know how to say this. Jay Bayun, I guess. Jay Bayun. And they said, why would a community continue to play a game that they're willing to boycott? Why not pick, Zelda or any of the big other games, to do something like that for? And Jay Bayun said, I love For Honor. It is by far the most unique game out there in terms of multiplayer, which I don't necessarily disagree with. It is unique in its style. But then he says, For Honor has something that no one else has with its creative combat system, great maps, and in general, great idea for a game. And so I can't help but think he's maybe drinking the Kool-Aid a little hard. There are a lot of games out that have good combat systems, great maps, and anyway, it just kind of...
I think it is a cool concept.
I think it is unique for what it is, absolutely. Yeah. I won't take that away from him, because it does. We haven't really seen
you gotta remember too, like there are still people playing what's that other medieval game with the combat system with like the parry and
Chivalry.
Stuff?
Chivalry. Well, that's what I was just about to say, and chat brought it up. Chivalry in Medieval Warfare.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, that's not a AAA game, obviously. So maybe he's talking about. As far as
I mean, Chivalry also isn't like it's not like a fighting game style with combos and things like that. Like I think For Honor is a pretty unique concept, but I think that concept is hampered much more by like connectivity and balance and some of the stuff that these players are upset about than some other game would be. Like those are pretty severe issues that you're going to want to put the game down if you lag, and they don't have dedicated servers, do they? Or,
no,
I don't remember.
No.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's like the currency, the rate at which they earn the in-game currency and stuff was like not even the that was one of the things they were upset about. But you know, I mean, good on Ubisoft, I guess, for responding. But I think the fact that it's like, I think this is a classic example of a game where there was a lot of hype for it, and I think you as the developer have to be constantly communicating to keep that hype going. And exactly. they did the Ubisoft thing where they're not, you know, super forthcoming with like what's changing, why things are the way they are. And you know, once your community turns against you, it's like that's a hard thing to come back from. I don't think
I'm gonna say something maybe even more upsetting to people that like For Honor. I don't even think if they had done everything right that the For Honor player base wouldn't be dwindling just as hard as it is now. Because I think for the people that are hardcore and enjoy it for what it is, I don't think people were ready for this kind of game in particular, because it doesn't have enough there. It is a $30 game. It is you play against fucking bots in the story mode shit. It is a $30 game. It has, I'm not saying the mechanics aren't bad when the connection's good and all this other stuff, but it still would have died or played or continue to be in a dwindling player base because there just, to me, there wasn't enough there to justify a $60 purchase. So again, they shot themselves in the foot with that fact alone, and then, like you said, Brandon, also kind of turning their own community of diehards against them. So they fucked up doubly there.
Yeah.
But I don't think even if they hadn't, and people and the cosmetic stuff came out and they were like, yeah, there's no way these ratios are off, I still think the game would have had, maybe it wouldn't have been 5,000, maybe it would have dwindled to 10, but you were looking at something that just wasn't.
That's definitely possible. There. I mean, I think that we talked about this the last time, but I think that they tried to have their cake and eat it too with the $60 game plus all the cosmetic stuff. And I think that in hindsight, potentially a better strategy would be, like you're talking about, $30 game, you know, with some cosmetic stuff.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. So that you basically try and model out where a lot of people will end up spending $60. But it's a lower price point of entry, and
to me, that's just another example of, like you said, well, you know, Ubisoft's greed is that they knew, you know, they get their $60. They know that this is a product that is, while not a bad product and it was well optimized and stuff like that, it's not a terrible game by any means, but they knew that if they get their $60, people will have already bought it, and then when they realize that, you know, whatever, they don't like the way that the ratios break down, that there isn't, you know, even if you enjoy it, it's going to be for a hardcore community. They got enough sales. Again, I didn't. Did we ever look up the sales of what they actually sold? It would be interesting to see.
I don't know, but I mean, I think they did pretty well.
They did pretty well. So it's just so kind of like you said, if they had gone $30, I think they probably have. I think that would have actually gone a long way, but they don't have to do that because they are able to. To be fair, like, even, I don't know, I played the beta and I was like, there's just no way I'm going to pay $60 for this. So I guess it's also kind of unfair to blame it all on them, because if people are going to buy it for 60, I guess it's their own fault, because it's not like they couldn't have tried it beforehand. You know what I mean? And for me, that actually killed the sale, because I was like, no, it just doesn't have enough.
Yeah, so, I think it's hard. I don't know. With a $60 game, I think it's already hard to create a large enough player base where it can live on as, you know, a community and like a thriving even esports type game over years. But I feel like this makes it that much harder when you have that $60 entry point. I don't know. I mean, I think they could maybe recover some if they put it on Steam sale. You know, and they could turn a corner. But I think it is hard, like you're saying, that, you know, I think a lot of people probably have stopped playing it, and getting people back is the hardest part. There's actually a good comment in chat that I think For Honor actually is kind of a niche game. Like it's such a different style of game that I can't help but draw a little bit of parallel to like Tribes Ascend, where you have some mechanics that are pretty different from what people are used to, and so like it's hard to get people into a game like that where they're really dedicated to it. And then if you lose that dedicated community, man, you're just like, that's a downward spiral that's hard to recover from.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of the whole motion of boycotting, like by not playing?
It's not. Like, I don't even think that, like, it's literally the boycott is not the important part. The important part is that there's like a Reddit post that was able to get a lot of upvotes. Like the community or the blackout thing they were doing is tomorrow, Monday, April 3rd. I don't think that actually matters in the grand scheme of things. I think it is more the precedent that it sets that, like, that we are upset enough that we will try and make a stand. And that, like, that's already had somewhat of the desired result. It doesn't actually matter if people stop playing on April 3rd or not, because I think, a lot of people have already paid for the game. Like, that's not the important part. The important part is that 12,500 upvotes on this post. That's a big deal, right? I'm assuming that's probably the largest post the subreddit's ever gotten.
I just think that. Like, I think I know that's not really what made the impact here, but I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to discredit it for like future possibilities. Because like, what if League, for instance? What if like do you think boycotting somehow, like, people stopping to play games, is going to be a viable thing in the future? Or like,
it's not black or white. It's totally dependent for me on the situation. Like, examples like something like Counter-Strike. Okay, so when the R8 came out, there wasn't so much a boycott as every thread on the CS:GO subreddit was, this is fucking broken, Valve is a piece of shit, and whatever, right? So the Valve comes out and they're like, I know I always bring this up as an example, but even mighty Valve, right, a company that doesn't really communicate to us in regards to that game, we're like, yo, we fucked up, like, we apologize. I mean, again, it was easy to see because it was so broken, but for things that are more like nuanced, like this, where it's like, this isn't really like, sure, they have issues with servers and stuff like that, that's stuff that can technically be fixed, but with cosmetics and other stuff, like, I think it can work. I don't think anybody wants to, I don't think any game developer wants to have their community angry at them. But there's also a lot of fucking retard mongoloids on Reddit and the internet who think that if they just do a boycott, right, if they get enough people together, we're not gonna play CS:GO until, it's like, they don't give it's situational, and the ways that you can get about it, I do think that there is a certain amount of power that you have. Like, I mean, it's not that Reddit doesn't have power and there's other methods to do it, but it's totally situational. I think by and large, it depends per situation.
I think if I think it would be a big deal if, let's say, League of Legends made some change and there was a large enough response from the community that they had a similar post. We're gonna all not play League on this one day, and as you see that post gaining more and more traction, it's not even the actual boycott is not like. It's the threat of the threat of, like, we know that these hardcore players are the ones that buy the cosmetic items. They're the ones that have these accounts that are worth thousands of dollars, and if we do see that drop on that one day, that's the scariest thing. It's like these people that did boycott, they're actually the ones who spend all the money. So I think it's the threat that if that boycott does kind of work and that they do see all their metrics dip that one day, they basically can't afford more days like that, right?
Right.
And I also find it interesting too, because like with these big game companies, like even if their audience isn't as big as like some others, like you have to remember that like Ubisoft is like a public company where they have like stocks and things like that. Like, can you imagine just the headlines of like 50% of user base like abandons game for one day on blackout? Like, can you imagine just the impact that might make on like shit? Like,
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the one day DLC in For Honor probably doesn't make up a significant amount of Ubisoft's daily revenue, but it's probably inside of Ubisoft. It's probably not. It's not going to be ignored. Right, yeah, like sure. those dips in the graph. Like, there are people who are looking each day at their revenue and saying, like, what can we do to make this go up? What they're monitoring player base, revenue in.
Yeah,
like that will definitely make make an impact on someone's life, and their boss will be like, hey, what happened here? And they'll have to explain it, right? And like that, I think that can affect some amount of change.
And I want to reference what Bear's saying in chat about competition in regards to certain things like CSGO doesn't really have, I mean, there are other shooters, but in the style and how many people play it, it doesn't really have any true competition. And that is why, so yes, boycotts are really dependent on enough people getting mad, whether to get a Reddit post up to a certain point or to actually boycott when everyone says they're going to boycott, and then, oh shit, no, there was barely a dip because everyone's addicted and they're going to play anyway. That's I think a good example is H1 and Battlegrounds, whereas H1 had no competition up until this point, and you're seeing them actually be somewhat reactive to the Battleground stuff, whether it's the spec client or whatever else. And that's really I mean, again, in competition is the best thing that you can have if you want your game to improve. If somebody comes along and does something similar and they are better or have things that you want to be put in your game. I mean, I heard from a lot of the H1Z1 guys that even if they're never going to play Battlegrounds, they hope that this lights the fire under Daybreak's ass. And I mean, so far it kind of looks like it has. I'm not saying everything's going to be fixed, but that's ultimately, that's what you can hope for, is that someone else comes into the space and actually, because like you said, that will cut into the bottom line when people go, all right, well, there's a better alternative to whatever, Counter-Strike or For Honor or whatever else. I'm just going to go play that game. There's no point. So anyway, that's obviously the ultimate. So I know that wasn't your question, Brad, but that's
the one thing we can all take away from this is that all real change on the internet starts with a Reddit post.
Well, of course, and a WhiteHouse.gov. But actually, you can't even petition anymore, right? Didn't Trump get rid of that? I don't even know if you can. I think you can petition still. I just don't think they accept them. They should have. Did they do a WhiteHouse.gov petition for? Oh man, that's unfortunate for For Honor, because that would have gotten looked at.
Definitely,
probably
that would have gotten maximum impact.
That would have been nuts. All right. Well, speaking of maximum impact on my heart, boom, segue. You guys remember when you're playing and you've got one legitimate controller on your PlayStation or Xbox or whatever else, and the other controller you have, what is that thing, right? It's shitty plastic. The buttons don't work half the time, but what was it, dude? It was a Mad Catz controller, okay? Mad Catz, part of a lot of our childhoods. We always made our little brother play with the controller, or if we gave him the good controller and you beat him with the Mad Catz controller, that was it. He had no excuses. You beat him with the shitty controller. He doesn't deserve to talk. Well, Mad Catz, I'm afraid they have filed for bankruptcy, guys. And this isn't Chapter 11 filing, where they can reorganize. This is Chapter 7.
This is the real
deal.
They're gone.
They're gone. And probably for a lot of people, that's not so much an issue anymore. The secondary peripheral market, not as hopping as it used to be, mainly because of how generations, everything's on a hard drive now. You don't need the memory cards as much. Though, I mean, they still exist for certain systems. But so pour one out, dude, for Mad Catz. I see the F's going out in chat. Any thoughts on this, gentlemen? As far as
I'd like to give a kind gesture to our friends at Mad Catz.
Yes,
it was nice having you.
Can you tell us what you're holding there, KD?
Yeah,
this is a Mad Catz GameCube memory card.
Mm-hmm.
Been with me for many, many years.
Wow.
Listen to my heart, and I'm just gonna. I just gave it a gentle kiss goodbye. Dude, and I'm still gonna use the memory card, but
30 or 40 years, Katie, that's gonna be worth crazy bucks when.
Oh yeah, baby.
Hold on to it.
If only you supported them in their time of need.
Yeah,
haven't bought something from them since the GameCube days. You're the reason that they're bankrupt.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, dude.
Well, hold on. It's not like I'm the only one not buying Mad Catz shit.
He's like, don't pin this on me. I mean, that is true. I definitely had some Mad Catz controllers when I was more playing console instead of PC growing up. I think everybody. I mean, it was cheap, man. You go to the fucking Funko Land or whatever, or GameStop, and you'd be like, well, I mean, I could buy what was to get a genuine PlayStation controller? It was like 30 or 40 bucks. I think it was 40 bucks for DualShock, 40, 45. And then you look at the Mad Catz and it's like 15 or 20. You're like, well, that's just for when people come over, and you know what? They could use that. I mean, it was easy.
They seem like a company that didn't really evolve with the times.
No.
They had
They did have a couple good fight sticks that came out, like the Mad Catz TE2. I think that's a fairly popular fight stick. They tried making like gaming mice and things like that, but yeah,
so they
right,
tried,
it just never really took off.
It just never caught on.
Yeah, they tried. And I'm looking at like
mice, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I'll drop a link in chat, but just looking at it here, these are some of the ugliest mice I've ever seen. It's supposed to be like fully customizable, but it looks like I don't even know what I'm looking at here. But I want to see some of these game pads. Man!
Oh wait, they were the ones that made the rat. Oh fuck!
Oh, that's right.
Rat. Oh, the rat.
I knew that looked familiar.
I mean, they called it the fucking rat. By the way, But again, I remember trying to use. We had some of those at Machinima. My God, I was like, I'm not using a PC with a fucking rat mouse on it. I was like, oh, okay, well there you go. Rest in peace.
And I'm even going over to their gamepad section on their website, and these do look like complete dog shit. Like they look like like they're not even trying.
Yeah,
like the rejected controller. I don't know. It's too bad. God, look at this link on my eyes. Oh,
okay. My favorite part of this is probably enjoying somebody's demise a little bit too much. I'm going to hell anyway, but so there's a quote in this article about this, and this is coming from one of their their finance guy. And it said, Mad Catz said that it was forced to enter bankruptcy after being informed by its financial advisor that, and then this is the quote, no viable strategic alternative in respect of a sale of the company or other corporate sales transaction is available. So when, when your financial advisor drops that on you, it's
their CEO, their president and CEO made a pretty devastating statement, just that literally this is the end of the line. Like they have pursued all the other alternative bank financing, equity infusions, sales of certain assets, everything, and the company has been unable to find a satisfactory solution to its cash liquidity problem. So pretty much that tells you that they tried whatever they could. But yeah, this is a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, so that is a real, basically dissolution of the company and liquidation of assets. So
yeah,
there will be no more Mad Catz.
One of the comments says this Mad Cat has used up its 9 lives. We'll just leave it at that. But yes, pour one out. Maybe some catnip out on your deck or something. Who knows? Whatever is most respectful for the Mad Catz legacy. But I think we've all been impacted, even in some small way, by Mad Catz. So
yeah, they're definitely they're a name from back in the day that I think a lot of people remember. Yeah. But I can't remember what they've done recently that has been noteworthy.
And that's that right there. There you go. That's why they're no longer going to exist. I mean, it looks like they went from trying, like you said, Katie, they went from trying to do the cheap peripheral stuff, which they were known for, to going higher end with the rats and all that stuff. And it's just there's just too much competition by people doing it better in the space that they never caught on.
It's too bad. I mean, Chapter 7, that's a pretty bad way to go. I mean, there's no happy ending. That's
it. All right. Well, Brian, I'm going to let you take this next one. Feel free to segue.
Of ending something officially and finally.
Ooh.
Hot fire.
The AP style book, in a move near and dear to my heart, has given us the final and canonical capitalization of the word esports. And my friends, it is a lowercase s, all lowercase in the middle of a sentence. That is lowercase ESPORTS.
Yep.
So if you want to follow the Associated Press style book, which I generally agree with, except for the omission of an Oxford comma from their style guide, which we won't get into right now. But these are the kinds of decisions that get made by people that guide the style book. So esports is now all lowercase according to them. Which there's actually a Polygon article here that's mildly interesting about why does that matter. And I think it matter. The point is it matters because it's like it is a way for the word to show that it's gone mainstream. For instance, email used to have, I don't know, email used to maybe have a capital M, or people would put e-mail. And like internet, the word internet used to always be capitalized. And up until recently, that was still the proper way to write internet, was capital I. But like as it becomes a more common word over time, it just gets shortened and lowercase. So like email, now people don't use a dash. Internet, lowercase, now is kind of the way people write it. So esports is getting that same treatment, and it could not have come a moment too soon, because every time I see a news article about esports with a capital S, I cannot believe any self-respecting editor writes the word like that. And I will call out 63% of you who voted in our Twitter poll before this cast voted for lowercase e, capital S. So not only have you drawn my unending ire, but you are now wrong according to one of the leading style guides in the United States.
Officially wrong.
You are, it's not just my opinion now that you're wrong. You are actually officially wrong according to at least one style book.
Objectively wrong.
So that's that's pretty important news, depending on who you are.
Dang.
And I'll admit, when I think about esports, just as a certain, not in any respect to being in a sentence, if I think of esports just as the singular word, I can see maybe the lowercase e. But then you get into issues of like, say you begin a sentence with esports.
When you begin a sentence, you capitalize the E.
Both.
When you begin
so then you have capital.
Yes, capital E, lowercase s, like every other word in the English language.
There you go.
Yeah, at the start of a sentence, it's capital E. In the middle of a sentence, lowercase e. The rest of the letters are always lowercase. So.
Yeah, that's what I was saying that the problem was with the uppercase S, but no more.
Don't ever uppercase the S in esports. That's the takeaway here.
Right. All right. Well, you've been killing with the segues, Brandon. I'm just gonna let you keep going. You're on fire tonight. I don't know how you're gonna go from this to the next story, but
I'll tell you someone else who's not capitalizing on anything right now.
He's on one. You just let him go, dude. Just let him go.
Palmer Luckey is leaving Oculus after a lot of controversy that I think we've talked about on past episodes. He has, he donated to some like alt-right group or whatever, and I don't know. It's just he's done some dumb things.
Got in some trouble.
That ultimately, Facebook, being the public company that it is, and wanting to massage over that news cycle as quickly as possible, pretty much. I mean, I'm gonna guess that they more or less forced him out. He used to be like the very public face of Oculus, and since all this stuff went down, he's basically been like pretty non-existent. So my guess is this has actually been probably in the works or like semi-official for a while, and this is just like the official date that he actually left, and they made a press release and all that. So yeah, it's a hell of a downfall, frankly, for a super young guy who was like the face of VR for a while. I feel like now, he's obviously rich beyond belief.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you're saying he's not really capitalizing on anything, but I don't think he's crying too hard.
Yeah,
with his,
it's like
millions.
He's not. I mean, he's not going to be hurting.
No,
but it is. I feel like when you do attain that level of achievement and wealth, it's like this has to be a pretty big blow because.
Sure. Yeah, you're right.
Because like he can't really hang out in the circles he was in, like he's probably, I would guess he's kind of been ousted by some of the people he used to hang out with and all that. Like people don't want to associate with him. First and foremost being, Facebook, his employer.
Right.
So It's kind of a shame, but maybe don't like donate to random Reddit hate groups if you want to keep your job. Well, that seems like good advice.
We're also forgetting about the lawsuit that he was partook in. Like
but I mean, like that seems unlikely to have been, at least in my opinion, like not a huge catalyst. Because if anything,
$500 million isn't a huge catalyst.
No, because that's like that's on Facebook. Frankly, like Facebook bought the company. If there was anything wrong with Oculus's technology, Facebook should have caught that in due diligence. So I don't actually. I mean, it's possible that the lawsuit has something to do with it, but they're not kicking out John Carmack.
No, well, not yet, for all we know. But yes, like. I mean, it might have been just one of many things because he was one of the few people that broke the non-disclosure agreement, which got to Facebook where it was. And
I'm gonna guess that Facebook looks at what happened with him, and all his donating to that political group and whatnot. That has the potential to be a lot more damaging than $500 million over the long term. Because basically people associate Oculus with him. Now people associate him with this idiocy. I think that's probably, that seems like what they were probably trying to get rid of, is they want people to not remember his face because now that face is tainted. So it's a shame for him, but I think they want people to, they want to get that bad taste out of their mouth as quickly as possible. So anyway, be interesting to see if he if he does something next that's even remotely public or interesting, or if he just kind of goes Notch style and retires and just posts on Twitter.
We'll see him as ZeniMax next week. So
well, I mean, oh man, I was thinking of a good segue for this and you're gonna knock it out on me.
Damn.
I was thinking, man, Palmer Luckey leaving Oculus. He's got plenty of time now to watch all the anime that just came to Steam.
Woo! There you go.
Oh, we have to talk about it. Hey, do you want to talk about this?
Katie, go ahead. Talk about
Steam and the anime library.
You're muted.
His mic is muted.
Well, it's such exciting news. I don't know. My Blue Yeti has been affected by it. I don't know. So Steam. In a genius move, they partnered with Crunchyroll, and so it's not a huge amount of anime on Steam, but impressionable young men who only have access to Steam, maybe not some streaming services. I don't know why not. That's not really the question here, but now they've got some access to popular anime. Nothing, pretty much only what you would see on the front page of Crunchyroll. Nothing really old school. We have some movies on there, and I'm sure in time
underground anime though,
it doesn't.
Dark Alley, you can't even pronounce it. Only 4 Japanese people have even seen it. Anime.
There's no Monogatari. There's no Evangelion. Those are 2 sins right there.
2 of my favorites.
But it does have all 29 seasons of Naruto Shippuden. So if you want to get caught up on all 500 episodes of that show, for about $15 a season going for that. But no, from what I'm looking at now, there's actually in excellent timing. They're having an anime sale on anime games and movies. So a lot of this is really cheap. I'm looking right here. You've got Re:Zero. You can get the entire season 1 for $8.85. If you're not partial to subscriptions or anything like that. That's a pretty damn good price. The Re:Zero, that's an excellent show. I don't care who you are. Mob Psycho 100. Pick that up for $4. What an excellent. Is the confidence not there in my voice? No.
No, I mean, you kind of sold me.
Boom. There you go. The price of a Starbucks coffee. Commit that towards some great anime. I mean, there really isn't anything too fantastic on here. But I just like the idea of, in time, more shows becoming available on a platform that a lot of people go on here probably who have not seen it before. And it's just another way for more people to watch some good shows. So yeah,
gateway, dude. All these people that wouldn't watch anime otherwise, though. Maybe this pops up on one of the, whenever you load up Steam, you'll be like, oh, I can watch. What is this cartoon that I can watch on Steam now?
There it is.
Pretty soon they're Googling what is, Fuda or whatever on Pornhub. So
there you go. Yeah.
I'm not saying that's not how it started with me, but
maybe, but yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I don't have a good segue here.
Let me think. Speaking of trying to reach new people, Quake is trying to reach the Overwatch audience, according to Daniel.
Here we go with the trigger.
According to Daniel Cooper.
Yes.
Quake's answer to Overwatch is going to enter beta next week. That is the headline of an article published by Engadget, basically saying that next week, Quake Champions closed beta is going to begin on April 6th. It's a pretty deplorable headline. But we'll try to ignore that.
Brandon was very tilted. I mean, he got us tilted too from this, because what does the headline, the Quake answer to Overwatch enters beta next week? Like, what? It's so fucking stupid and clearly clickbait. It doesn't make any sense, though. And then Brandon pointed out that if you actually look at I think the original title of this article was Quake Champions Beta begins April 6th.
Yeah, that's a great title.
That's what the actual URL is.
Meat and potatoes, right? It's nothing special, but it gets the job done.
No. But instead, clearly, so we weren't going to necessarily blame Daniel Cooper, who wrote this article on Engadget. Maybe you were saying, Brandon, that you think it's the editor.
Could be his editor who just spiced up the title. He left everything else the same.
What the fuck does that even mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, one of the lines in this article here that is the only time the word Overwatch is used. It says, there's a lot riding on Quake Champions, which its creators are hoping will make it as big a blockbuster as other competitive shooters like Overwatch. My thought reading that is like, yeah, generally when you create a product, you hope that it becomes as big as popular products. That is common.
It's so fucking bad.
But regardless, like you said, regardless of Daniel and his editor's issues, I'm not saying you shouldn't read Engadget, but maybe this is one of the reasons that you don't. Point is, Quake Champions closed beta does begin this Thursday, so I'm pretty excited for that. You can sign up on the Quake website. You've been able to do so for a few weeks now. So I signed up. Hopefully we'll get beta keys. That would be sweet. I was definitely looking to get my hands on, on something where I can play for more than just one match. Like on the show floor, I think anyone who's ever played a game on a convention show floor, it's nothing like the actual game experience really, because you're not on your own equipment. You're not really paying attention to the finer details. You're really just getting like a very high level view from a single match. So you get a rough idea of the graphics, a rough idea of the interface and all that. But I'm looking forward to having the fact that it's going to be playable like this soon in closed beta means I'm hopeful that maybe we see like open beta or I mean, who knows, even like launch by QuakeCon in August. Like it makes me hopeful that this game is going to be, in a public playable form probably in the next several months.
Yeah. No, it's exciting. It's exciting news. I mean, honestly, yes, it's exciting that it begins April 6th, but what's even more exciting is that clearly, they're hoping for Overwatch numbers. So we can only hope, Brandon. We can only hope.
I mean, I guess that's why you got to get it out there, right? If you don't get it out there, it can't become as big as Overwatch.
No.
So, nope. But definitely sign up for the beta if you if you're into first person shooters. I think my hope is that it'll be a fun first person shooter it's actually the reason that Overwatch comparison seems so ridiculous to me is I can't think of a first person shooter that is as far removed as Quake is from Overwatch. Like Quake is all about largely all about individual skill, And you know, there is a team-based aspect of Quake, but it's mostly about like if you have 5 incredible players who are individually incredible players, they're a great team Quake team. Whereas in Overwatch, it's not an individual game; it's like completely team-based. Whereas Quake is one of the epitome games to showcase individual skill. So what a ridiculous comparison.
All I know is if they don't have an autistic or lesbian hero, that this game will die instantly. Instantly dead. Just not relevant. Well, I mean, Jeff Kaplan's not behind it either. So I mean, I don't
know if Tim Willits has gotten that question yet.
Yeah, we'll have to ask him. We'll get him on here.
I mean, hey, when I played it at PAX, I did play a lizard. So you know, they are not. Okay. You know,
okay.
Did you tell, was it a female or male lizard?
I do not remember, but at the very least, they are not discriminating on species. That's important.
Did the lizard kiss anybody under a Christmas tree in a comic?
That not yet. At least not from what I played. But it's hard. It's hard to say. You know, who knows? Yeah. Who knows what their comic strategy will be with Quake Champions?
We'll have to see. Very cool. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for the news and the quick hits. Man, we had a lot of stuff to cover this week. So looks like Katie Zen, you're going to take us away with just some of the best shit coming out this week. Hit us with the new release.
Yeah, there's some good shit in the quick hits. Now we're on to some decent shit in the new releases. It's no big baller week like last week, but there's some decent new releases coming out. First up, Shovel Knight, Spectre of Torment, new game, prequel to the first Shovel Knight, which I have not played. I don't know if any of you boys have played it, but very well received. It's like it's a prequel. You play as one of I believe it was one of the bosses, and you're kind of creating the evil organization from the first game. So yeah, more Shovel Knight, always a good thing. I know people have played this. Go ahead.
I was going to say you can check out our review of it on KBMOD.com.
Oh, that's right. Great plug. Absolutely. Yeah, check that out. And also check out Spectre Torment coming out on April 5th. And next up is Lego City Undercover, which is basically Grand Theft Auto for children. This came out originally... Yeah, this came out originally, I think, in 2013, but this is like the first time it's been put on PC, and it's alongside some like next-gen ports. It's got split-screen multiplayer. You don't really see that too often on PC. So
yeah,
hopefully,
it's open world like
so. Open world like that. You know, there's potential. Could be. Well, we already know whether or not it's a good game, but yeah, if you're so enamored by that game, you want to pick it up and play it in 4K. You finally can.
Would you possibly say that this game by Traveler's Tales, publisher TT Games, action Lego City Undercover game, hopes to compete and sell as many copies as Overwatch?
I certainly I don't think they're not trying to. I think they're trying to earn good sales.
Are they trying to mimic another successful game and hopefully be as successful?
You know, didn't GTA come out on console first and then came out to PC 6 months later? So
that's true. That's true.
Let me just see if this quote works. There's a lot riding on Lego City Undercover, which its creators are hoping will make it as big a blockbuster as other competitive shooters like Overwatch.
Yes, perfect. Perfect.
Lego's answer to Grand Theft Auto releases on Steam on April 4th.
No, yeah, Grand Theft Auto is it works perfectly with that.
Oh my god.
It's a competitive shooter.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, next up, let's see, we're Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition. Saw a little bit of this at what was it, the Video Game Awards. We saw like a trailer for this. I played a little bit of this game. I think it was on PC before, but now it's on PC again. I think the only new content aside from some challenge maps and like apparently a new campaign mode, there is new content for the game, but it's DLC for the new game. then you can get it for free by pre-ordering.
It's got the biggest, like, I don't know about you guys, because I was rebroadcasting this and commenting on it live. This was one of the biggest face palms of the whole fucking just cringe when fucking oh god, it was like, because it was towards the beginning of the show, and it was, you know, the whole Duke Nukem thing with the fuck. You can play him as the main character instead.
I was gonna say, how is Duke
and Randy
Nukem?
Pitchford came out and thought was like, yeah, this is like supposed to be big. It was so people were. I mean, I don't think I heard a single person applaud. It was awkward. People were like, we're done. Like, weren't we done with this fucking 5 years ago? Like, stop. Nobody cares about Duke Nukem anymore.
It says you can pre-order and get Duke Nukem's Bulletstorm free, or Bulletstorm Tour for free.
Yeah.
And my thought is like, can we choose not to have that?
Right. Can that not exist?
But another way to look at that is that you're remaking this game and you're putting the only really new content for it as paid DLC.
No, it's pretty scummy.
And the game by itself, get ready for this one, retailing $49.99.
If you buy this, honestly, can I just say this now? If you buy this, if I see you playing this on my friends list, I am deleting you so fucking fast, because I will judge you as a human being if you pay $50 for this re-fucking skin Bulletstorm, where the additional content is DLC, and Randy Pitchford's fucking pinching his cum-ridden dick all over your face. trying to get you to care about Duke Nukem again. Fucking stop. We're done here. Don't do it.
Would you?
If you buy this game, fuck you.
Scott, would you say you agree with this quote from an Engadget article I just found? No. That it says there's a lot riding on Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition, which its creators are hoping will make it as big a blockbuster as other competitive shooters like Overwatch.
Oh my
god. I mean, you're right. I can't disagree with that. I can't.
It is in some aspects it's a competitive shooter.
Oh, absolutely. It actually when I was watching some of these preview videos, I had to pinch myself and think, wait a minute, this isn't Overwatch.
This is competing directly with Overwatch. It's crazy. Oh boy.
Oh, APL. This game has online co-op. This could be our next game. We could play the 12 cooperative multiplayer maps.
Wow, this looks interesting.
Dude.
Yeah. Oh, I changed my tune.
Yeah, I mean, Bulletstorm could be a fine game, but I don't think any of us are a fan.
Bulletstorm's not as a product itself. It's not a bad game. It's just you can't come on. Don't fucking charge.
Yeah, don't dick us like this.
It's just.
Can I just say that that Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition Steam page did not have an age gate on it? But the next game does.
Oh. Yeah, what?
Yeah, that's an oversight. So we're jumping into some indie games here. This game is called Domina. It's a sort of 2D kind of brawler in an ancient Rome arena. It says, acquire, train, upgrade, and whip your brutish gladiators towards bloody victory in the ruthless arenas of ancient Rome. And apparently it's saying you can use strategic political wranglings to win favor from powerful Romans. Now that sounds like some gachi shit.
Stop! I'm done. Stop. I don't care. Katie, I swear to God, you do this shit to I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's fucking pixel art. I used to be like, you know what, dude, this is great what Steam does. Like, you know what, everybody can get their product out there. And I'm not saying this is going to be bad, but
yeah,
I can't.
It feels like something you've definitely seen before.
Yeah, it's just too much. I mean, even the art style looks okay.
Art style reminds me a little bit of Nidhogg.
It does look Nidhoggish.
Oh, I can see that.
At least for the duels. But the buzzwords and the fucking just the game you have to play nowadays. I guess there's enough of an audience for this stuff. I mean, I feel like every time we do the new releases, there's like 100 indie games you have to go through.
It reminds me of like a Streets of Rage or something. It's like old school 2D but like 3D plane.
Yeah. See it like that. Yeah, it could be a fine game, but not.
It'll all depend on the price. I don't see a price on this page, but I mean, if it's like $10 or something, it could be all right.
Yeah, for sure. Not $60 like For Honor. That most definitely not.
You know how I always rant about too much choice, but this is another. It's like now they're just infecting. Like, how am I ever supposed to pick games to play on Steam? Like, it's just so much. Like it's just so overwhelming. Every week there's like 150,000 new titles being released.
Yeah,
and then they're all going to go on sale. And there's like, I don't know. I'm just shutting down. It's too much. You know what, dude?
Oh yeah,
I'm done. I'm not buying any more new games. Okay, I got the games.
You don't need to buy any new games. You already own For Honor.
That's right. No,
you've got Battlegrounds.
This game looks like a sword and sorcery. Have you guys ever seen that game?
It kind of does.
Okay, but yeah.
I'm sorry, and this is not. I mean, I probably should have picked a game that actually looks terribly shitty. This doesn't look terribly shitty. I'm sorry, I just had my breakdown moment. Like,
oh no, I mean, there's
a lot of other ones that deserve the wrath. But
oh my god, I like, for the amount of games that I get, just this week, if I was going like picking up the shittiest games on Steam I see, I could get like 3 times as many. Like, my entire process of like getting new releases is just go new releases, go through the entire next week, and I just start like opening a new tab to where my browser is like 50 open tabs. Then I just go one by one what looks good. And I mean, what you're seeing is the cream of the crop coming out next week on Steam. Like, I'm not hiding some hidden gems. It's just too bad. But yeah, you were talking about what developers have to do to grab people. Buzzwords. Speaking of which, this one looks like it's really playing into what's popular right now. It's called Spaceship Looter. Now, if this looks familiar, it does. It looks a bit like Enter the Gungeon, but in sort of like a space setting. I don't fucking know. It's early access. It's these poor chumps at LuxOryx Games, their debut game. They're trying this shit out. It could be fun. I don't know. You know what? Man, you have me doubting this entire section now. Like, what is the point of any of these?
It's just like it all starts to blend together. Like,
it really does.
Like, because like you said, Enter the Gungeon, or so many, they're so derivative. I'm not saying we don't need, like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, we'll skip this. We'll skip this. I don't want to talk about that anymore. I got nothing.
Fuck it.
This next game actually looks kind of interesting. This game is called Use Your Words. It's a party game along the lines of like the Jackbox Party Pack. It's got 4 built-in games. You can play with your smartphone, kind of like that. And so I've got a party coming up pretty soon. I've got to manage. So this could potentially carry that. Yeah, it's got the trailer pulls one of those real people, not actors, and you have like old women on the couch laughing their asses off playing this, holding their iPads. So if she's losing her shit, then this is going to be
it's good.
A legend of a game. And I mean, if they're real people,
this looks like a good stream game for sure.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, I've added too. But yeah, no word on a price yet. But this comes out April 4th. It's got some good recommendations and reviews also. It's Destructoid said, "I'm glad to see some other games coming out that adapt the formula Jackbox pioneered. And Use Your Words looks like it'll be a worthy competitor." And Pure PlayStation, Use Your Words makes everyone funny and a little dirty. Sort of like Quiplash. That game was able to keep a party going for hours. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, we had a room full of 30 people all playing Quiplash, and we went for hours and hours in that game. It was pretty good. So hopefully something rises up to that standard. But yeah, Use Your Words, it could do it.
Nice.
Steampunk Syndicate, I feel sort of not interested at all given the recent revelations in this section.
I like how I just fucking Katie's just totally doubting himself after I lost.
I'm just like, what's there even to talk about?
He's like, can I submit this, or is this going to cause a trigger? Because I'm not gonna lie, just fucking skip it. It looks fucking nope.
Yeah, it doesn't look too interesting. I don't know what I was thinking, but it's like a tower defense card game. Blah. All right, next up, this game looks sort of interesting. It's called Drunk Foo Wasted Masters. Basically,
I just hold on real quick.
What country is
the
this?
one you just skipped over was actually looks like it's an Android game. So
is it really?
I'm gonna have to ask you to do a little bit more vetting on some of these new releases next time.
Okay, I see. All right, I'll have to do some research and see.
You're bringing it back though with Drunk Foo here. This does look interesting, kind of.
Yeah, Drunk Foo. It looks sort of like
Gang Beasts.
Gang Beasts, but Everyone's drunk. It's most likely going to have terrible controls because people love that shit. And yeah, you just play as a bunch of...
Okay, nope, we're done. Nope, next. Reviews. I am doing something. I am punching people. Markiplier.
Oh my God.
That is in their reviews. That is their review.
Nope. They have one review on their page, and it's the Markiplier quote. That is fucking awful.
It does look like Andy's, to be fair.
Yeah, the sad thing is people are going to see that, and that's going to work. If people will see that, and they'll think, Markiplier painting! They start clapping their hands. They start grabbing their wallets.
I mean, it'll sell. And we'll just be like, play Gang Beasts, dude. Gang Beasts is better.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's potential. But yeah, finally. Oh yeah, that game comes out April 7th. No word on a price because no one, I don't know what the fuck is up with people with their thumbs up their asses not deciding a price until the day it comes out on Steam. But there's no price for half of these indie games.
Also,
what's going on?
We should note.
That game is early access as well. So is this. Yes. All these are early. This is an early access.
Oh my God.
Every game is early access at this point.
Why do people keep doing this shit? Just finish the game.
They don't.
Yeah, the game that like this next one coming up that's like single player. I want to play it one time and be blown away. I don't want to, like play it once and be shitty and then have it keep growing. I don't know. I mean, I could see it for like a multiplayer game or like something that's not, a pretty linear game. Anyways, so some of you might remember Bloody Trapland came out a while ago. Pretty hard platformer game. Some YouTube personalities played it. I don't see any quotes from YouTubers on this Steam page though. But Bloody Trapland is yeah, it is. I was really hoping for that PewDiePie piece. But yeah, Bloody Trapland 2 Curiosity is coming on to Steam via early access. Excellent. If you've played Bloody Trapland, you know exactly what to expect. That's all I have to say. Up to 4 players, sort of pretty brutally hard multiplayer. But a multiplayer platformer, yeah, there you go. So pick that shit up if you like Bloody Trapland. That's gonna do it for the new releases. I'm gonna have to take some serious thought in the next week's segment because, like, I don't know.
A wild ride.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Saying it was half decent. That was all right. I promise next week.
It's all right. Listen. Sometimes it's just you get lulled and because it's so shit most of the time that if they're moderately competent, Katie, sometimes you're like, all right, this doesn't look like it's actually going to give me cancer. So you let it slip through. But I know you can tighten your standards a bit. I believe in you.
I mean. You're right. The main thing I'm worried about is just having nothing in new releases. But maybe I should just rather go with that than adding on.
Go with I would say quality over quantity. I think that would
for sure. Yeah. Okay. So next week I'm just gonna grab every RPG Maker game with the free assets I see.
Exactly.
Cool.
Exactly.
And these games, like the games that come out that have like the fucking like the RPG Makers, these the original assets, they're already on like War of Heroes 6. Like there are 5 other games that this guy has made just from using all the assets. It's crazy. But oh yeah, and one more thing. It's not PC, but I'm throwing this in. Persona 5 comes out on Tuesday. The game's gonna be fucking incredible. Also, Parappa the Rappa remastered on PS4 also comes out on Tuesday. Ooh, I don't know if you guys played that when you were younger, but that's some nostalgia right there.
Part of my childhood.
There you go.
That's pretty cool.
All right. Viewer questions.
Bringing it at the end with some of those gems you have hidden in your back pocket. I see you.
Oh, I pulled them out. Not on the PC, though. That's why I was worried. I was thinking I was going to get thrown off the call the instant I say a PS4.
Okay. No, it's all good. All right. Cool. Well, thank you for that. We're going to jump into the viewer questions now. This one, I'm assuming, comes from email. And it's from David H. And he writes to us and says, Sup, KBMOD bros. Long-time listen and first-time caller. My question for the cast is, Scott, or shall I say Robert, how do you like the new Doom OST, and is there an OST that is tickling anyone's fancy at the moment? I'm sure that the second part has been asked before, but maybe Mabai, there is a new one. Sorry, I'm reading it as it was written. Well, to be honest, the only real exposure I've had to the Doom soundtrack was actually at the video game awards or whatever, or what was the show? Yeah. And where they did it live. Because I haven't actually played the game yet.
Oh
I know
I
know I'm gonna get the shit from you guys. But I have heard and I liked what I heard. I thought it was really good, but I don't I don't have it on my like iTunes or whatever right now.
So good.
But from what I've heard, it's really good. Yeah.
Played Doom already.
But is there a soundtrack that's tickling anybody's?
Having just finished, having just finished Nier Automata, that has one of, I'm tentative on this, but if not the best soundtrack of any game I've ever heard in that game. Like, it's fucking unbelievable, that soundtrack. But also, I know Persona 5 is going to have good music. Because 3 and 4 also had just really good music. So, I mean, it has to. It objectively is going to have good music. So, yeah, Nier right now.
I don't listen to many game soundtracks, but the only answer I have here is that sometimes at the gym, I listen to music at the gym, and I'm too lazy to make playlists. I just hit shuffle on everything I have on my phone. And I have the Bastion soundtrack, and the Bastion soundtrack, like, it comes up a lot because there are so many different songs. So I'll say the Bastion soundtrack, which is just, I mean, I don't listen to all the time, but it is fantastic. If I can't pick the Doom soundtrack, Bastion's always a good go-to. Bastion and FTL.
This wasn't what he was looking for, but I've been listening to the Hans Zimmer OST for Interstellar. But it's not a game, but I don't know.
It's still an OST.
But that's fine. Honestly, like a lot of my answers would be like back in the day, dude, when I was playing EA Sports games and shit, their soundtracks would just be made up of, like popular, not even popular bands, but sometimes the Madden's
that really Dave Mirra soundtrack.
The Dave Mirra soundtrack, like Tony Hawk,
Underground 2.
Underground 2, like those were my shit. Like when it was like, just a variety of rock or punk rock or whatever else. Like, I'm trying to think
what MTV games. Like where you do crazy stunts and shit. I love those.
Exactly. Games, yeah, they always had great soundtracks. That's Mike has a great one in chat, dude. I didn't even think about Killing Floor 2, but Killing Floor 2 soundtrack is fantastic.
Yeah,
lots
of
good stuff if you want to get pumped. Pretty good. Okay. Well, good question, man. Sorry, I'll try. Yeah, I mean, from what I have heard of the Doom soundtrack. I mean, I really liked it. I probably should play it and also download the soundtrack.
You're a streamer. Play Doom on stream.
I know. I need to. I don't know it's one of those things that everybody's telling me it's so good, and it's like I have this like hipster thing where I'm like, it can't be that good.
No, do it.
This week. I know it's really good.
This week.
Everybody. Okay.
Promise me.
I can't promise you that, Brandon, but I will make an effort. Maybe. We'll see.
I don't want to steal the light.
Maybe I'll just get the. All right, go ahead.
I was heavily considering streaming Doom tomorrow.
Okay.
My first playthrough before we even had this podcast.
Okay. Oh wow, wow. He just comes in and snipes it, dude. Classic KD. No, I'm just
like my intervention right there, brother.
No. I've been telling you to stream more. Do it, dude. Fucking stream it.
All right.
Do it for me. Be my Jesus. Fall on the
for you.
Fall on Doom whatever. Fall on your sword for me.
Yeah, I'll just
Doom for Brandon, and I'll watch. I'll really infuriate him. I'll watch you play Doom on your stream and not experience it myself.
I'll play it when you're in the chat, and I'll wait for you to casually be like, "All right, I'm heading out." And as soon as you leave, I'm like, "Guys, I'm not feeling good. Gonna call the stream a little early." You know, sorry.
Funny.
Yeah,
but David. Do it. Cool. All right, David. Thank you for your question. Appreciate it. This next one is a Twitter question from Andrew Buttram, and Twitter, and he asked us, "What frozen pizza do you stock in your freezer?" I would say none because I don't. Believe it or not, I actually don't have pizzas in my freezer. Though I
if you were gonna stock some, what would
if I was going to, what would I stock? I mean,
do you go for the high end stuff, or do you go for
baby?
You go for the value.
There's definitely tiers of frozen pizza for sure. Like I know what you're saying. The high end. I don't know. I'm curious where you fall, Brandon, because you're kind of like the frozen food. I mean, the Hot Pockets and the frozen food guy.
Yeah, so. I mean, look, I will admit that these are not the highest quality, but You can get a Totino's.
Don't even say Jack's pizzas.
No. Totino's Supreme Pizza. They're like $1 each.
Okay.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
And
I've not had that.
We're going dark, boys. Okay.
Yeah. It's not high quality stuff, but as far as volume goes, man, you could literally. I think they're about $2.
Yeah. I just got flashbacks to college. It hurts.
But I mean Hillary's gotten some DiGiorno before. Like that stuff's fine, but if I'm answering this question truthfully, like what frozen pizza have I had the most of? The answer is Totino's Supreme Pizza.
Price. Damn, dude.
Gotcha.
So what I would do in college to make the Totino's better is I would just shred my own cheese on top, and they'd actually be like pretty legit.
I would just cover it. I would cover it in like a salt and spice type mixture.
Yeah, I did the same actually, like garlic salt.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to cover it. You have to cover it in something that has flavor.
Please allow me to enlighten you all right now.
Okay.
Red Baron brick oven crust cheese trio is the best oven pizza by far.
How much though? I mean, again, we're talking price point. I mean, Brandon's talking cheap. Like, what is that's probably like a $6-7 pizza, not on sale.
Oh no, it's definitely not that expensive. Let me double check.
Cheaper.
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
They're like $5.
$5.
That's not too. I mean, that's like again, if I'd say 5, like I don't know, between $4 or $5, you got a lot of options there. I remember one time I got introduced to Freshetta frozen pizza via at the time my girlfriend's one of my best friends, Luke, who is now my brother-in-law. His mom was one of those shoppers where she loved to save and would get these deals where she could like she ended up basically filling a massive freezer with Freshetta frozen pizzas because she got them for like full-size pizzas that were normally $6 or $7 for $2. So one summer we ate, I can't even tell you how many Freshetta frozen. We just go over and be like, "You want to eat a pizza?" He's like, "Yeah, we've got like 200. You want to eat one?" And we would just probably gained a lot of weight that summer as well. But Freshetta frozen pizza is not bad. So I enjoyed that. I've had DiGiorno and not been super. People talk, it's okay. I don't know. For the price, I think there's better. You shit on the Jack ones. I don't know. It'd be interesting to do kind of like a taste test on a lot of the. Because I think it is pretty subjective. Some people swear, like some people will swear by a certain frozen pizza brand. I'll be like, oh, I think it's garbage. So I think there's probably a lot of variation in there.
Okay.
It's hard to say.
Yeah. I just looked it up.
I don't hate Red Baron. I've had Red Baron before. Red Baron's okay.
I think one of the underappreciated ones is the like personal size deep dish, I guess you would call them.
By what brand?
I don't even remember, but they're all going to be like the same. I'm pretty sure they're all made from the same fucking place, but like they're just like little personal size pizzas, and they're like an inch thick, and like those are pretty good. But I would probably do fucking Totino's, because if I'm gonna spend $10 on a pizza, I might as well go out and actually get a real pizza.
Oh, $10 for $10. You could get 10. You could get 2 4-count boxes of Totino's pepperoni party pizza. That is, I'm looking at it now on the Walmart website.
Wow,
it is $4.88 for a 4-count.
Amazing. I just want to say that I like how Totino's went from a cardboard box to a plastic bag to remind you less of the crust, so you weren't eating what it was packaged.
They also made it way cheaper for themselves to package it too, I'm guessing, by the plastic bag.
I was going to say, I actually was looking at this listing here on the Walmart site, and I saw it was in a bag, and I was like, wait a minute, is this are these pizza rolls, or is this something else?
Yeah.
I have not shopped for these recently.
So I'm gonna do something I don't normally do, and I'm gonna plug my friend's app here. So in college, I roomed with my friend. His name is Nick. He made a pizza calculator app for the Android store. You put in a diameter, like thickness, price, and everything else, and it tells you based on like cubic inch, like the best value for your pizza that you can get. So just
always say Totino's.
That's sick.
Huh?
It's just numbers of Totino's.
Well, we used it for like pizzas that you call to order, but like
Right.
yeah, but because sometimes when Domino's, Pizza Hut, and all those places have some deals going, you're like, okay, let's get the math going.
Yeah, they always. That's the thing is they like the pizza places always have deals where you can get pizzas pretty cheap. So like that's the thing is for me, Totino's is clearly like lowest effort, cheapest possible. If I'm gonna go even to like the $5 or $6 range, I'm getting close to. I'm just gonna call and order a pizza.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. That's true.
But also, I mean, to be fair,
sometimes though, I'm not gonna lie. I thought like this is maybe this is an American thing, but sometimes you just want to go. Oh, I just talked about Bear by accident. I got so excited. Sorry, Bear. But anyway, sometimes you get so excited, or like you just it's just kind of like this is what I would describe as like masturbating to like National Geographic to go back to your roots. You know what I mean? Like you have too much choice. It's like, dude, I'm just gonna eat some shitty frozen pizza. Like it harkens back. You know what I mean? Like it's a rainy day outside. You don't want to interact with the delivery guy. I can understand that, Brandon. Do you know what I mean? There's a certain mindset to it where it's like, like I want to feel shitty. I want to be shitty. I want to eat my Totino's $2, cardboard where I have to add garlic, salt, and actual my own mozzarella cheese to make it.
I'll be honest.
Better.
The worst like, part of those pizzas is that you still like you put them in the oven and they take 20 minutes. Yeah. So it's actually kind of the worst of both worlds because it's not good and you basically wait kind of the same amount of time as you would for a pizza delivery.
Right.
That's why I love Hot Pockets because Hot Pockets, man, if I want a Hot Pocket right now, 3.5 minutes later, I'm eating a Hot Pocket.
It's true.
Not so with Totino's pizza. I gotta heat up the oven, then put it in for 20 minutes. By that time, I could have just had something delivered.
True.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go.
Good question.
Hopefully
Andrew.
That helps a bit. Andrew knows how to get us fucking fired up. All right. And hey, speaking of getting fired up, Time Lord 367 on Twitter asks us, if you went to Denny's, but you were only allowed to order the same item every time or every visit, what would it be? I mean, this answer is so easy for me, but go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
No, go ahead.
I think is it what I think it is? The chicken fried steak?
Yep, the chicken motherfucking fried steak.
Solid.
So good. I've had it at multiple Denny's at this point, and I haven't had a bad one yet, though.
So good.
It's so good, dude. It's so, especially after if you've been drinking a little bit at a con. Oh, yeah. If only when I have to credit Timmy with that. Timmy at the Q, man. He turned me onto those, and I've never looked back. If I'm eating like breakfast at Denny's, dude, that's what I'm going.
Chicken fried steak. Yeah, I've only been at Denny's a handful of times, but I actually got. Yeah, I've only gotten I've out of my 3 visits, I've gotten a certain dish twice because it was so good. It was the bourbon chicken skillet. Like that just does wonders for me. But I mean, I can't really confidently say that because I know I haven't tried the chicken fried steak. I'm definitely gonna get that next time.
You got it next time. You honestly try the chicken fried steak and let me know because I think it's gonna change your life.
I'll report back. It'll change my life. Okay. But yeah, for now,
do you get just the chicken fried steak or do you get it with eggs?
No, I get it with eggs too.
Oh yeah. That's a okay. I mean, of course.
I get the full thing.
Country fried steak and eggs. My God, that's a classic.
With the gravy, man, and it's so crispy. And, oof. I want one right. Dude, there's a Denny's like 50 miles away from here.
I actually want that right now.
I know. God damn it. How have we not? Listen, I know we're not the biggest podcast, but God damn it, Denny's. Will you just throw us? We've been pushing. I mean, honestly, yes, by your own merit, but we've been pushing you guys for
based on Denny's social media. Our audiences align perfectly.
Oh, they absolutely do. We need it. We even if we could get a coupon for $1 off that they could send us, that we could send to people in email.
I'll take a Denny's affiliate code.
Yeah. Damn, we gotta hit them up. But
yeah, I mean,
all right. What about
country fried steak and eggs? Is a very strong choice.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with what I've gotten the most at Denny's because I feel like that, I could always fall back on this because the variety is so high. I'm gonna go with the ultimate omelet. You've got a 3-egg omelet, crumbled sausage, bacon, fire roasted bell peppers, onions, mushrooms, diced tomatoes, shredded cheddar cheese. You know, you get everything. You can eat that for every meal of the day.
Okay.
Brad?
What about you, Brad?
I mean, I hate to cop out, but honestly, chicken fried steak, dude.
Okay, no, hey, dude, I'm down. It's hard to beat.
Okay,
I understand.
Country fried steak and eggs is.
Tell me the milligrams of sodium, dude. I'm not. If I'm at Denny's, dude.
Do you think this is a man who cares about his sodium at a diner?
Oh, get out of here, dude. Pour the salt shaker down my gullet, dude, to make the chicken fried steak even more tasty. I don't care. Listen,
look,
I mean, if you're ordering a chicken fried steak, there's no way you're looking at the.
Hey, you know what? Look, I'm looking at Denny's website right now. I see 1080 milligrams of sodium. So let's at least get our facts right, eh?
Oh, okay. Maybe that's for. Does that include? I don't know if we're.
Look, I don't know. This is what's on their nutritional facts page. All right, I'm gonna trust Denny's at face value. 850 calories, 62 grams of fat. 425 milligrams of cholesterol, 1080 sodium, 44 grams of carbohydrates. However, 29 grams of protein.
Oh, there you go. There's the positive.
There's a feather in your cap.
Damn, dude. A fiber, dude. 3.
I really want some steak and eggs now.
Dude, me too. Why did we have fuck this question? God damn it.
Denny's close enough for me to get delivery.
Postmates or something.
Not at Denny's close to me.
While someone goes to this next question, I'm going to potentially order steak and eggs from Denny's to my house.
God damn it. I'm mad at you. All right.
Oh, man.
Final question here before we get out of here. B tier K2 asks us, if you could pick another language and travel, what language would it be and where would you go?
AKA the lovely Asian Pikachu.
Okay.
Cool. I mean, mine's pretty easy. I get a feeling everyone knows
you would speak Japanese and go to Japan. Boom.
Yeah.
Yep. It's fine.
I added this question because I want to hear your answers.
Yeah. What language do
I think if we're just talking about like being able to grab a language, let's say for like a few weeks or a month or something, right? So not something, because I think we've had a question before that's like, if you could pick another language to speak, what would it be? And my answer would be different for that, because that would go into general utility, right? You would want something
that's where my head is at right now.
Yeah. So I'm gonna not do that, and I'm gonna say this question is like, if I could pick a language for, let's say, 4 weeks or whatever, and just go somewhere, travel where I speak the native language. I don't know. Maybe I would still maybe do China or something.
I was just gonna say that.
Something where I would be I would have such a different experience.
Just a different
speaking
like
the language
shock,
like a
like
native.
you would walk around, right? You can speak Chinese fluently, understand everything. People would be talking shit about you. You just be, not just that, but you'd be able to pick up, like you said, on the culture and stuff, hearing all the conversations going on. And then when you open your mouth and the shock, dude, of you speaking fluent, you know what I mean? Like
when I speak like a native,
like a native, like it just blow their minds, I would guess. I mean, or anywhere really, I guess, if you're kind of an odd man out and not,
I think I would probably pick either like
cool.
China or Japan, because I feel like Japan is also kind of that way, where it's such a different culture that I would miss out on so much going there. That's actually maybe one of the reasons I haven't, planned a vacation there or something, because that culture is so different, and I don't speak the language at all. I feel like it would be, I feel like it would just be hard for me to get a whole lot out of it. Because I wouldn't understand so much of what I'd be exposed to.
That's a good answer. Yeah, I'm with you. I think China would be a lot of fun. Brad?
I was thinking Cantonese or Mandarin for China as well. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we're aligned. Maybe we should all just, guys, hey, listen. Rosetta Stone, okay? We'll just spend the next 2 years.
If we divide it 4 ways, we've only got to learn a quarter of the language.
That's right. And then we can... Oh, that's a good idea.
You start one part of a sentence and then just look at us and go, anyone? Who's got this part? I'm asking where the bathroom is. Who knows bathroom?
Katie's in, you've got verbs. I'll take nouns. Adjectives is Brad.
Yeah. No, I'll have everything that's vulgar. and then got that whole part of the language.
Dang. That's a good question, though. Right. Thank you, BTRKT, for that. And yeah, so this is where we would move on from the viewer questions to the iTunes podcast review of the week. But unfortunately, we have none. So if you would like to correct that for next week and leave us something, it's very simple, man. Open up your browser, open up iTunes, do whatever you need to do, log in to your newly created or old iTunes account. I don't know which, could be a mix of them. Give us 5 stars. That is what we deserve. Look up KBMOD, the KBMOD Gaming Podcast, and then yeah, leave it. Tell us. I don't know. Just type in the box after the 5 stars. I don't really care what's there.
Tell us which language you would pick up and where you would go to travel.
Ooh,
how about that?
Do that.
Tell us what you would get at Denny's every time.
Oh, there you go.
This is an interactive podcast, but you have to make it so.
That's right. Right. We need to hear from you. So do that for next week. But yeah, if you want to check out more when it comes to KBMOD, obviously kbmod.com. Check out there's 4 different articles, 4 reviews, and an article on from the Policy and Game series from Capstar. So check out all that stuff. You can follow KBMOD Gaming on Twitter at KBMOD Gaming. You can follow KDZen at KDZen18. You can follow Brad at Hutchison15. You can follow me at APL Fisher. And of course, Brandon is at VOL1 TION. And yeah, we will see you guys for another episode next week. Hope you had fun and learned something, as no doubt that is probably our greatest export from this podcast, is providing people with knowledge on a wide range of topics, including, frozen pizzas and is the hot dog a sandwich. So we do a pretty big service here. So, the least you could do, I'm going to tie this all back to the review, is leave a review for us, okay?
Yeah.
5 stars.
Give us something.
If we've enriched your life or educated you in any way, frankly, I think you owe it to us to give a nice review.
There you go. Make Daddy Barndoor happy, okay? It doesn't take much. So, all right. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you guys next week for episode 273. Farewell.
Yatta!